Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm QnA, this is Blue Line CV. Today, I'm here to bring you guys a Q&A live stream tonight. Hope you guys are enjoying. Great to see all you guys here right now. Dan, how you doing without the mask? Let's go. Always here. Ian, MB7, Antonio, your homie. Seen a lot of regular people here today. Very good to see. Obviously, I'm a little bit annoyed and frustrated. That video I made today, just, that tactical video on Lukaku and everything. Yeah, it was just really disappointing that in the end it got taken down and it got cancelled, got blocked. Tomorrow I'm gonna have to go and find a way to work around it, maybe make some amendments tonight. Literally just came back home even, so it's really frustrating, to be fair. Put bare work into that video too, so let's hope that no stress tomorrow at least. But I do have some surprises for you guys. Got another special guest appearance video. I'm gonna have to push that one to Tuesday, actually. I think you guys are gonna enjoy who the guest is gonna be, for sure. But yeah, you guys, without wasting no more time, let's start answering some of the questions that's on everyone's mind right now. Your homie, okay, I missed that message, I'll get back to it. Without the mask, hit the like button. It's Nini, so you don't need to see the content first. Is that what it's like now, yeah? Like, you guys just like trust me so much with the content that I just get automatic likes. Hey, I'll take them all. I'll take them all. I appreciate that, man. Thanks so much. From time, Tuchel does not know how to coach an attack. Call him out. I don't care if he won the Champions League. Di Matteo also won a Champions League trophy. Wow, I guess we're getting straight into things then. That's a very explosive start to this Q&A stream. Listen, man, I fully agree with you. I put out on Twitter a few days back that there's this video I've always wanted to make, just talking about like the boards, Marina, Roman Abramovich as well too, the club's philosophy, our vision, our plan. I mean, you guys saw what I tweeted. The club operates on opportunity. The club does not operate on vision. And I think that, for me, after that defeat to Man City, the reality clearly and obviously is that with how the game is today, with the abundance of money in the game as well, legacy clubs will exist. Man City, they'll be here for the next 5, 10, 50 years. Same as us, same as your Uniteds, and many other clubs as well, as long as they keep their finances on point. And it's just like, if Man City are now setting the bar, especially after we had our head start first with Roman's investment back in 2004, the players we signed, etc., etc. That's really like changing the face of modern day football. If Man City have caught up with us and they're now the new leaders in the Premier League, for me, maybe we have to revamp our identity and our philosophy around what success means, because there's not only one way to win. In football in particular, there's many different ways to win. Many different ways. Some clubs focus on their academies, some clubs focus on Galactico signings, some clubs do a bit of both, some clubs sign up the best talent in their domestic leagues. I mean, you can go on. There's many ways to get success, yeah. And I just feel like the model we found for success, does that necessarily hold up now when you compare it to your Man Cities and other superpower football clubs coming through? Like, realistically, does it? Should we just accept how we win? Or do we realize maybe it's time to revamp, it's time to improve and expand upon the way we've been finding success over the past few years? I definitely feel like, for me, basically all I'll say is in this world, yeah, it starts from the top. Someone who runs something, you hold that power, that influence. You know what I mean? If you're an owner, whatever your philosophy is, it's going to trickle down all the way down from the top all the way to the bottom. That's how it goes. And I get Roman's mentality, of course, success at all times. Success of everything, we're ruthless in our pursuit for success. But then it's just like, I see the contradictions, and sometimes I think, okay, I understand that's the club's motto, yeah? But then, does that apply to the boards? Yeah, it applies to managers. We'll let a manager go just like that. We let go of Frank Lampard just like that after just a sniff of a bad run to come, yeah? Just the tiniest whiff and sniff, yeah? But it's like, do the boards apply that to themselves? Because they've made a few mistakes quite regularly every single season. It's not like there's been a window where it's just like being 100% perfect without any flops or failures. I mean, we've seen the transfer strategy sometimes, some of the signings that we make too. You can go on, if you focus on the details, yeah? The club are also part of that philosophy that they're imprinting in the club, you know? The board are still part of that. It's not just down to the team and the coaches and the managers. It's also down to the guys at the top as well and what they're doing to bring that proper success, in which other clubs now, I'm looking at Man City, one of their things they realized very early on was they did not want to do what we did. They wanted to improve upon what we did. They wanted to learn from our mistakes and not make them. And of course, when Sheikh Mansour took over Man City, what do rich guys do? What do powerful guys do? They're smart enough and they have the resources to outsource and hire and bring in the best experts in the field. That's how it goes. That's how this world works. That's how it operates, you know? Sheikh Mansour's not out here offering jobs to his business associates or people close to him or family relatives. No. They brought in Tichy Beristan from Barcelona. They knew very early on that Pep Guardiola was going to be their man they wanted. That was their dream. That was their vision. And Man City made sure they put in all the foundations to begin with to make sure that Pep Guardiola could not refuse the opportunity to sign for Man City and do what maybe like what Cruyff did at Barcelona years ago, you know, have the resources and imprint your style and philosophy from the club that will last forever from when you leave. So I completely understand that. And the fact that they're just like rinsing out league titles for fun, the way they play, the players they bought as well, they're not as wasteful with their finances like we've been. I put out a tweet. Let me even find that tweet even. Because it really kind of frustrated me a little bit that many people really missed the points what I was saying about Man City and, you know, how they conduct themselves in the transfer window, how they conduct themselves in the market, and just how resourceful they've been. That went over a lot of people's heads on Twitter, as it tends to do for some reason. Let me find that right now, you guys. Let me get that up. Give me 1 sec. Let me just get that up real quick. So yeah, I'm on Twitter right now. Let me find that tweet. So it was this tweet basically here. Not the Pulisic fanboy ones. I don't know what happened to Pulisic fans this season. I've not seen them, to be fair with you. But yeah, this tweet right here. Are City ever wasteful with their signings? Do City ever sign players to use them out of position? People should ask themselves, why do City never suffer with injury crises? And I don't know how I spot injuries so poorly like that. How am I just seeing I'm spelling injury like this? My God. But anyway, their foresight will forever be on a different level. Our board operates on opportunity, not vision. And on Twitter, I'm just seeing a lot of people looking at that tweet and now doing like club finances and club accounting, talking about all the players City have signed, and I don't know what point they're trying to prove. You know, focus on the small details if you want, but I'm trying to make like a point here. You know what I mean? Trying to make a point here right now. People telling me about like Nolito, squad guy, Mangala, Mendy, squad goalkeeper, fullback, Bravo. Just like, I mean, come on. If this is like the L sheet for Man City and the business they've done, I would take that happily, yeah? I would happily take that, because really, a lot of these guys didn't even cost that much. They weren't on big contracts like that to begin with. But what people did not realise what I was trying to say. When Man City signed your De Bruyne's, your Salah's, Sterling's, Diaz, Laporte, big name players, yeah? How many of them end up flopping at the club? That's the reality. How many of their big name players don't add to the first team and add something immediately to the team and improve Man City and adds in their pursuit of winning trophies every season? Us, on the other hand, you look at our record signings from your Torreses, your Moratas, You're looking at Kai right now, who's struggling. You're looking at Lukaku as well. You can go on with him. Kepa Arrizabalaga. We've spent more money. Kepa costs more than what they spent for De Bruyne. They cost more than what they spent from Sterling. And many, I don't think Man City have spent, other than Jack Grealish this season, they haven't spent that much money on anyone. And it's just like, look at what these players have added to the team. Their goals, their assists, their influence, the way they play. Us, on the other hand, we've overspent in my opinion, when it comes to winning trophies. And it's just like, you know, now in this next decade, yeah, can we afford to keep making them same mistakes? I'm not too sure, in my opinion. But after seeing our City beat us and realising that these will be our competitors now for the foreseeable future, if we want to win the league, it means we have to beat Man City, and that's going to be a big task and a big challenge. We have to make sure that the structures from the top all the way to the bottom, they improve and they get better, in my opinion. Obviously, I'll release a video on this. I've got even more to say about Roman, Marina, the board, strategies, Scott McCacken. I can go on. But hopefully, maybe next week I might release this video, yeah, and take it from there, to be honest. But enough of me going on, you guys. Let's find some questions to ask. Getting back. Okay. Anki Panky Nini on the level. Were you happy with Thomas Tuchel's appointment? If I'm being honest with you, to be fair, I didn't really feel no type of way against it. I was more frustrated that the board kind of gave up on Lampard's and like his vision of what he's trying to do. Nothing to do with Tuchel at all. I knew what to expect. I know the guy's a good manager. But like I'm trying to say, my whole annoyance came from how the board was so quick to just, you know, lose faith in another project, another vision, like we've done time and time again. You know, infamously for me, after winning the Champions League and literally doing everything proper to sign the right players to lead us to success for the next 10 years, De Bruyne, Salah, Lukaku, Hazard. You have to think that all these guys technically should still be in our club at this point in time, and they'd all be the best players in the league, and we'd be on an absolute ridiculous level. And it's a crazy what if. Can you imagine that? Like, imagine a 4-2-3-1 type of thing. You've got like Kante and mids, whoever's alongside him in midfields. Further up, you've got Lukaku. In behind, De Bruyne, Hazard, that Belgium link up on the right hand side, Mohamed Salah. We did everything right to make sure that we had a team that was going to improve over the years and be ready for the future. And literally, like, 18 months later, they all cut because, what was it? Marina decided that Jose Mourinho was the one. Let's get this guy a new Bugatti or Ferrari as well to persuade him to sign for us. Let's give this guy a massive contract. Let's give him all the control he wants to have. And who cares about some 22-year-old called De Bruyne? Because the thing is, you know, we can sign players who we want and we'll still win without him. And look, De Bruyne, man, he's cost us in how many games against Man City? How many games has De Bruyne been that match winner? Scoring wonder goals, bangers, taking responsibility himself. He must just have like an extra edge when it comes to playing against us, just because of how we mistreated him and took the piss, in my opinion. And it's just like, under Lampard, my thing was just that, okay, I understand what Lampard's trying to do. I understand that he's trying to maybe sacrifice that pursuit of trophies to try and improve these players individually to a point where in the next, like, you know, 1 to 3 seasons, they'll be of like a certain level due to how they've been learning and improving and like honing their craft. And then they'll be ready and we'll have a team that can play top football and of course still challenge and compete. And I think we saw like a lot of like, you know, we got a lot of confidence, in my opinion. The fact that we still got to like, you know, an FA Cup final and finals, we competed, we were unlucky. We still got Champions League secured, etc, etc. Those details I can't overlook. And you know, we were still able to do that. And I just think that maybe in another world, if he didn't suffer those injuries that he got at the wrong time, and if COVID wasn't just like messing up his whole time when he took over as well too, you know, that messing up training, pre-seasons, injuries even more, etc, etc. I do think things would have gone completely different, to be fair. But you know, things happen for a reason. At the same time, would we have won the Champions League soon? Absolutely not. We wouldn't have won that. But it's also another interesting debate too, where it's just like, you know, I don't want us to just be like a cup team, where it's just like we're happy with like winning the odd trophy every few seasons. You know what I mean? I do feel like if the whole vibe here at the club is, you know, success, we're ruthless in that pursuit of success, then it means that every season has to be a season where we're going for honours and making things happen and really, you know, we're going to win. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's the most important thing, ultimately. And that's what the board keeps saying to us, marketing. So, you know, you got to prove that. And for me, even the Champions League, realistically, I'm going to sound very entitled, but even that recent Champions League, is that enough? No, because, again, you're selling that the club is all about winning every single season. It's about getting the third Champions League, the fourth one, the fifth, 10th. You know what I mean? That's what we're in the business of doing, essentially. So I just want to hope, and I want to see from the board that they're really serious about that. And for me, I'd feel that confidence, yeah, if I saw them move differently in the market. Not all these opportunistic buys left, right and center, no strategy buys, no, okay, you know, we're going to get our short-term goals done, but at the same time, this is what we're building towards. Look at Man City, prime example of how they've been able to overtake every other team in the country right now. And it's kind of embarrassing, not going to lie, it is. And it's just like, when the boards, what's the date now, 16th? It's going to be the 17th in a few hours as well too. Literally, 3 weeks into the window, and we still haven't secured a wing back for the squads. Like, how often has this board's been putting your Emersons and Alonsos on the market? Even offering Marcos Alonso part of the deal towards Lukaku to sell him. Emerson, every club being offered to blah blah blah, take that. These guys are still here, and it's been like continuously trying to sell these guys for the past 3 years, and they're still here. We still haven't got that backup competition. And this is what I mean by a serious club. Do you think Man City would ever dream of just being happy with only Cancelo and Walker, and then say, you know, fuck the rest, I'm fine with what we have, these are the main guys, doesn't really matter about the backup guys, not going to play that much? No, because they're a proper team that realise we can't just rely on these guys solely as if they're going to be fit enough and injury free to play 60 plus games a season. That's not going to happen. It's not going to work like that. For a time now, we should have got competition in midfields, wing back, full back areas as well too. And this is what I mean. You're planning for the future. You're taking those precautionary, preventable measures. That's what you have to do. That's how it works. And we don't do that time and time again, because things like business and money will always be the thing that comes first over like the real sporting pursuit, yeah. And it's just like, for me, yeah, when you're like going to try and win things, not hoping to win, but actually trying to secure the trophies, the titles, that jump from like third place to first place is even greater than, I don't know, top 7 to top 4, or like trying to break into the Champions League spots, because there's breaking into the Champions League and then there's winning things. And that means that when you're trying to win, them fine margins become even greater. The details become even more significant, because your competition is other super clubs that have the money, the finances and the players as well to stop your pursuit of winning and getting trophies and titles. So it means that the way you're moving is, of course, having strategies to compete against them, and of course then taking care of the rest of the clubs in the country. That's how it goes. So those fine details of margins become even more impactful. And for me, we keep showing that we don't necessarily think or care about those fine details and measures. And I just think personally it's something that does have to change eventually, because like I'm saying, man, the rivals and competitions around us, they're not just here messing around and playing around. You know, we got to take them serious if we want to be a club that's looking to win every single season. And, you know, being in the odd few finals here, winning the odd few trophies, Champions League, I appreciate that. It's going to be in the memory books as history. We're not going to forget that. But then I'm sure we're all thinking about the third one, right? And that's just how football is. Anyway, let me just, I'm really just going on, you guys. I've got some super chats I haven't even got to. I really apologize for that. Let me find these super chats right now, you guys. Give me a sec. But as I'm doing that, let me quickly see what everyone's saying with the other questions. Now, I've got the super chats up here. Aina, hey man. Long time. Love to have this Q&A back. Yeah, man, I'm looking to do this a lot more regularly now. I appreciate that. ITS Merchant, do you think we have a mid-table attack? No, we don't have a mid-table attack, because the thing is, I don't remember all these guys that we signed before getting 5 goals and 5 assists a season. I remember it being a lot greater than that, a lot more significant than that. And for me, I'm just going to keep it real. I just honestly think it's the manager not finding a way to get the best out of the attack. And like I said, man, you know, it's this Chelsea Football Club. The reality is Tuchel could not even be here in a season or 2 or 3. We'll be someone else, and we're still going to be out here hoping and expecting to win things. That's the reality. And listen, if that's what the board, if that's the culture and the philosophy they're selling to the squad, the players and the fans, I need to embrace that and take that seriously. You know what I mean? And listen, when you're spending that much money on an attack, and from like you guys, I've been getting a lot of hate. I just don't really care at this point, but since last season, I saw these struggles. I saw them weren't really addressed. I'm looking at the balances with the players as well. And I think for me personally, it comes down to the fact that too much focus and emphasis is put on not losing games instead of winning them. Because listen, in the Premier League, yeah, you can't. I keep saying this. You can't just textbook your way to wins. You can't just rely on. You can't system your way to wins. We lost to Man City because De Bruyne took responsibility in that moment, scored a wonder goal again against us, and that's how they won it. And a lot of times we was winning trophies before you guys. We were relying on the players that we also signed, the quality we signed, stepping up and proving and showing that quality. And my thing is, the details matter. You can't be playing a top player out of position or using him in this most effective way and expecting him to perform with the same output. It doesn't work like that. It just, especially in modern day football, when the game is so specialized right now. You know, but it's all about, you know, the roles of the players more and how you combine those roles to get a winning team. That's what football's about right now. It's not like how it was 20 years ago where, like, let's say, you know, your midfield players have to do everything. You tackle, shoot, score, etc, etc. Nah, it's not like that no more. Specialized roles. It's up to the manager and the club to sign the right players for the right roles for the right system. And that's how you cook and that's how you do it these days. I feel like people forget that. Yeah, you can say, why is Lukaku not, you know, why is he not winning aerial balls? He should be. And I agree. I get that. I fully do get that. And I agree with that. But then that kind of sums up how the game really is. It's not like how it was back in the day when we're looking at your Basatutas and like many of these like great guys back in the day who were, you know, really like proper like skillful, you know, football players where, you know, they were attempting stupid shots from crazy angles and putting it off with more consistency and even attempting that. We don't really see it like that anymore because the game's become a lot more physical. Sports science has really improved things a lot more. Intensity, pressing, tactics, all those things now, they help you win games more than having that individual reliance on quality. And that's why, you know, we've seen it time and time again. Teams like your Leicester's winning things, Atletico Madrid's, on paper, they don't necessarily have the best players, the best technicians, etc. But that's how the game's evolved and moved away. That's how it is. So, yeah, you know, those 100 million guys that you're spending money for, you know, I mean, imagine how much money you're spending for like the great strikers back in the day. Like if a Drogba was on the market now. You know what I mean? You're probably backing, what, 70 mil to get Drogba, 80 mil to sign him. You're spending stupid amounts of money now. And of course, you know, the market's is definitely overinflated based on like the talent pool of the market at this point in time. I think that's definitely the reality. But hey, what do you expect, man, when all these rich people, businesses, corporations, companies come in, buy up clubs, you know, the TV revenue money, you know, they're striking bigger deals every single year, etc, etc. It's just going to inflate everything. So you kind of have to look past that as well and understand what football is for today. So like I said, if you got Lukaku, yeah, you can't be out here having this guy trying to give a shit Didier Drogba impression when on it the only way he plays is on the grounds. So I'm sorry, Tuchel has to do better. From the multitude of different attacking lineups I've been seeing consistently season after season, yeah, I'm putting my hands up. For me personally, it's not good enough. Does that mean fuck Tuchel? I hate him. I'm not appreciative, bruv. It doesn't even matter about if I'm appreciative enough or not. That's the reality. I mean, come on, we're a club where this is what they sell to us. We're ruthless. We want to get trophies. I want to see Tuchel doing his best to help unlock some of these guys, finding a better system. And I think for me personally, actually allowing them to express themselves at times would be the important thing. Like for example, look at the game against Man City. I've been saying this a lot. You're looking at Hakim Ziyech, you're looking at Christian Pulisic. Bro, I don't understand why Pulisic is solely playing on the right, especially like in a game where you're using them further forwards and you're still having Ziyech on the left and then Pulisic on the right. Like, I'm just thinking, how many times did Azpilicueta not find Lukaku with like quick balls and behinds or first time balls? Yeah, I remember in that game versus Tottenham where Ziyech set Lukaku up with an amazing dinking lofted through ball over the top, which found his head. And he's exactly the type of player where his left foot on the right hand side, that angle, the new angle that's been opened up, would just boost our chances of being more effective with our attacking third play. I'm looking at Christian Pulisic. When this guy is dribbling on the ball, is it on the instep? Like, is the ball on the instep of his foot? It's on this side. And why is it on that side? Because this guy's first touch is so good that he cuts inside here. He can break the lines. And what can he do after that? He can link up with his target man. Remember back in the day, that link up we used to see from Eden Hazard and Diego Costa. Diego Costa wasn't out here just getting tons of like balls, aerial balls left, right and centre. No. Yeah, when you have to. Of course, you have to do all that sometimes. But that wasn't his exclusive service. It was all balls to feet. He beat City, that famous game 3-1 away from home. Was Costa having to fight for balls in the air every time he had to get on the ball to do something? No. It was all balls to feet. And I remember all the times Hazard would be able to drift inside, link up with him. And of course, you're bringing a new dimension. What's that dimension of Pulisic's doing that in yesterday's game? Bruv, it's Kyle Walker. How many times does this guy give away fouls? You're bringing a new threat. You know, you're creating space for your dribbles and your runs. And it's just like, there's still no real valid reason for why I'm seeing Ziyech and Pulisic having to play on their weaker sides. Because tactically, other than just helping you defend more, because that is the only reason, it's not doing anything to help you attack and break teams down. And it's these details I've been seeing time and time again. How often have we been seeing Kai Havertz on the left-hand side? Kai Havertz on the left. Doing what? Have you seen this guy even attempt to beat anyone on the dribble from that side? No. You're playing more supportive. Like, these guys be signed for the opposite flank. When you move to the other flank, you're playing a more supportive role where you can't even influence the game like that. I've been seeing Mason Mount sometimes on the right, sometimes on the left. I think he's better on the left-hand side, but exclusively on the right for his ability to, I don't know, like, what, be a space investigator. I mean, I can go on, and that's been the story of our entire attack. And since day one, Tuchel has not found a way to fully get the best out of that. And listen, that doesn't mean that I hate the guy, but I guess with how a lot of guys like see football today, you know, you want to even have a criticism, and everyone's entitled to one. Me, you, the fucking Queen, everyone in the world, yeah. You got to say what you have to say sometimes. For me, it's that simple. It's that simple. And I'm sorry, the investment we spent, the fact that it's been over 12 months now, you've had more time to work with these guys compared to Lampard, even under pre-season, which Lampard didn't have at the time to work with them. I'm not saying this because I'm low-key trying to defend Lampard. I'm really not a fuckboy like that. I promise you. I really don't care like that, yeah. But for me, you've had more time, which is a fact, and I'm still not seeing an improvement in what we're doing in the final thirds, and it's not good enough. And for me, we found our big game tactic. The other teams which we've been struggling against since last season, yeah, we still don't look any better for dealing with them. And for me, that's a bit frustrating. With the players, the talent we have, I've been seeing these guys before. I was seeing Havertz at Leverkusen, seeing Ziyech at Ajax before as well too, Lukaku for sure. Damn, but do you know how good this guy was? He went to Inter Milan. Come on, you see what he does for the Belgium national team. And people out here trying to tell me he's a shit player who's not good enough. You know, because they're emotional about an interview. I mean, please, honestly, I really don't give two craps about that interview at all anymore now. And let's not act like he's going to get sold on, like he's not our most expensive player, and like he didn't cost over 100 million. So you have to accept that he's going to be here. And if we're going to just be looking for like cheap shots to scapegoat and put more pressure on him, then so be it. But is that going to help us win? Probably not. So like I said, I need to see improvements there. And you know, all these big money guys, I'm not seeing Tuchel finding any solutions to get the very best out of it, and I'm a little bit annoyed by it, I'll be honest with you. Let me answer the rest of the super chats. I appreciate that. Kanich, should we buy a new attacker for tactical reasons? I mean, I'm just really thinking, I don't even know what attacker I would use in this system, if I'm being absolutely real with you. I mean, I don't see what attacker is going to do anything really, to be honest. Like, who is this? Unless you're going to spend like $500,000 on wages on Mbappe, so to sign him up on a free. Because he'd be a player that would really, like, he's one of those players where it doesn't matter what system he's playing in, his class is going to come through. There's not many players like that in the market, you know? Are we going to spend what, 300 million, 200 million with Vinicius Jr. for that? Yeah, he's going to leave them to sign for us. No. So the players we're looking at, they all benefit playing in different systems, which is the opposite to how we use our attack. I know Rafinha is a very popular one, but like I said, if you're going to appreciate these players, you also have to appreciate how they're used and how they play. Because Rafinha, can you imagine him in this system? Sometimes playing on the left-hand side, sometimes playing false 9, sometimes playing as a cam, as bold 2, etc, etc, etc. He would not be able to show that same form of all that he's showing for Leeds. I'm looking on the market, I'm just really thinking, imagine if he even signed Haaland. If this was Tuchel's plan with how he's using Lukaku for Haaland, wow, can you imagine the I think maybe if that had happened, maybe some of the criticism, because again, you can critique respectfully. You guys aren't hearing me say, fuck Tuchel's shit, overrated, get him out. No, because I'm not stupid. I'm really not stupid. He won us a Champions League, the guy's world class. I'm still hoping next season when he's here, because he is going to be here, hopefully the boards come through and get him the players. And I'm also hoping as well too that Tuchel's not going to be a yes man, and he's going to say, listen, you keep offering me shit players I don't want. I want this, I want that, I want that. You need to have that balance. They need to understand, if you want to have a world-class manager like me, who's shown that I can get you Champions League trophies just like that, who's shown that I can get you competing, I can get you playing properly as well too. If you want to keep someone like me, you've got to really invest in me. Get me the players I want. That's what I want to see. Last summer, I'm sorry. Only get Lukaku, which is right at the end, only because we spent like how many months just trying to just get an offer from Dortmund to go for Haaland. And it's just like, listen, if you didn't just know already, you need to have at least 150 mil ready to even entertain Dortmund. What was really the point? What was the point? It felt like we wasted a lot of time in that market. Number one, as always, spent on having to loan players and sell them because we've got too many guys on the club's books that we still can't get rid of 10 years later. And then after that, you know, you make late bids for Lukaku, and then an even later bid for QnA. And when I keep reading about the club's loved QnA for years since he was born and came out of his mum's womb, why was a bid made so late? Oh, I know why the bid was made late. Because you're hoping that if you can get QnA to put pressure on Sevilla, make a bid late as well too, you can then put pressure on Sevilla to hopefully sell for less, and of course bend them to your will. That's the type of tactics we're always using in the windows here. Yeah, it works sometimes, it's sick, but it's not a consistent measure of quality that's going to get these players signed. You understand? That's not going to get these guys. And this, me personally, I thought that QnA was a guy you get ready for next summer. If you want him, don't get him for this season. Honestly, the squad balance reasons, like, I'm just even thinking, imagine if we sign QnA, this guy would be playing right wing back, as if this guy is a wing back. Do you know what I mean? He'd be playing as a wing back for us right now, doing a pretty poor job at that. I'm sure you guys saw this guy for France in the Euros too, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you remember, weren't too impressed. And that's what I mean by like how we build the squads. Those details are not on point. They're not ready. We could have just done Sevilla goods, get the deals ready for next summer. But if you know that, you know, you're not going to secure some defenders, because listen, you don't want to give Rudiger the money he wants. You don't want to give Aspie the contract he wants. And you don't want to give Christensen the money he wants. So if you're going to be moving stingy like that, you should have taken a big boy decision, accepted that we'll lose one of these guys after this season, and then you have QnA ready for the season afterwards. But nah, you know, no, you want to have our cake and eat it all the time, and it comes to bite us in the ass a lot of times, yeah? A lot of times. You know, I'm looking at signings like Ben Chilwell. If it wasn't for Lampard really being adamant, and if it wasn't for Ben too, credit to him, you know, getting this guy to move dirty against Leicester to force his way out of the club, we don't sign him, and look how this guy's benefited us. You know, when it's funny how like the real football guys we had at the time, and Lampard and Petr Cech as well. Petr Cech coming through to sign Edouard Mendy, saying this is the guy we need to sign. This is our guy right here. You have to trust me. Him, all the goalkeeping scouts agreed with him as well too. Like the guys who are legends for our club, and we can't ever forget that. Legends for us, which built the platform for us to even be able to sign your Hazards and all these guys we're getting right now. You know, they gave us the foundations with the history we have here. you have to take their words seriously when they rate a player. And it's just like, it feels like the boards, they'll always put business and they'll always put like smart financial decisions and cost-saving measures first compared to actually competing and getting the right players in need. Because, you know, sometimes we've been in situations, yeah, where we had to take a little financial L, a bit, okay, let's say Alexander, for example. Because this is the thing, after we won the league from Antonio Conte, that very following summer, we were in the market for a new left wing back immediately. So we've known for how many years that Alonso is not your number one guy like that. We could have spent an extra 10 million to secure Alexander if we were that serious about him, like we were showing constant reports, constant stories. And that's the move you make, thinking, okay, now that I spend that 10 mil, that means I don't have to spend another 50, 60, whatever mil trying to find more replacements in the future. I mean, look at the left back situation with Emerson, Babarakman, Alonso. I mean, you can go on with the amount of L's we've taken in that position, yeah. It's not good enough. And as I'm saying, man, I'm looking at the competition around us. We're not gonna lose league titles because of you know, clubs behind us. It's gonna be because our rivals will be doing it better, like Man City, who are on an unbelievable run. They never have any injuries that affect or derail their seasons at all. And that's because the details from the squad management to the play style to, you know, the depth and quality they have as well too, and how they build. Because Man City aren't signing about 5-6 players every window, are they? They're not doing that, and there's a reason behind that, yeah? You sign quality, that remains, and if you know exactly what you're getting from them because they suit a style and an identity that you've had since day one, then the risk factor goes down dramatically. And as we're seeing, you guys, and as we all know, you know, we'll keep signing players, managers, not really supporting them, because the moment, and this is my thing, yeah, the moment that fear factor creeps in that what Champions League football could be affected, nah, you're out, get someone in now. And it's got me thinking, why is it that every time that little bit of fear of missing out on the Champions League creates this much fear? And I guess it kind of makes sense to me, you know, the fact that when Roman first took over, we kind of really overspent heavily. You know, we overspent on players, on agents, the amount of managers that we hired and fired for fun. You're looking at Villas-Boas, you gave him a crazy deal, and you're sacking him a few months into the season. You're not paying this guy 5 million to leave the club, you're paying tens of mils. The same thing for Mourinho, you can go on, you can go on, you can go on. Just taking that for granted. The moment financial fair play came in and we realised that we can't just rely on Zadie Roman to bail us out left, right and centre, this is when all the stringency came into effect. And this is how everything started to just, you know, become a little bit mediocre. And that's what I mean. People might be thinking, Nini, we just won a Champions League a few months ago. How are you going to be here being this disrespectful and acting so entitled? But, I mean, how can I not be when this is the whole point, no? This is why the club moved like this. And like I'm trying to say, to finish my point too, I think that because of all these financial L's we took here, the minute Champions League football is in jeopardy, that's why opportunity always creeps in, because our finances must be so mad that if we even missed out one season of Champions League football, that could really affect us a lot when it comes to balancing those books. So, you know, if that's how you're going to be moving, you'd be thinking in your heads, maybe the fact that the only good thing we did at this club, really, you know, building Cobham, we're actually going to be using some of these guys now and not selling them for peanuts. Because, I mean, this is because, as I'm always saying, I'm looking at your Livermentos, your Lampteys. Bro, like, how can you have these types of players? You're selling them for peanuts, what, 3 million and shit like that, and literally in the course of like a few months, in the end of the season, 9 months afterwards, the value, if you want to get Livramento now, it's 30-40 mil. Lamptey, that's 30-40 mil. That's 10 times, 15 times, you know, increase, markup, 9 months after. So if you have talent that's value is going up that dramatically after one season, yeah, why aren't you using that and investing? If at the same time club finances are at such a mad point as well too, that, you know, it's why we can't do what City do and like maybe overspend to get the best squad players, to get like a really strong squad where you can constantly rotate very easily and players can still adapt and play the same way and the quality level doesn't dip. Why are you not using these guys then, where you're actually even fucking producing guys ready for the system now? You know what I mean? Acting like Lamptey isn't a unique player. Acting like Livramento isn't a unique player. How many guys, tell me fullbacks similar to them in the league? Who's similar to them in the Premier League? And then who's similar to them in Europe as well too? These will be the guys that I guarantee Man City will try to go for one of these guys. I guarantee. Walker's not going to be here forever. They're not going to allow United to get one of them as well too. And what we have to do if we want to get them, we're now going to have to come back to spend even more money on top when we didn't have to do that anyway, because they showed straight away that they're ready for the Prem level. You know, if you can give confidence in using the Malang Sarr when you have to. You're telling me there was no confidence be having your Liverers and your other guys, the squad players in the team? And the fact that some people really believe still, based on, I don't know what the reports are. I think there's a lot of fantasy and hocus pocus, to be honest. Or I don't know. Some people just really just feel like to, you know, support the club. It means you have to support any ridiculous decision and just blindly accept it because you've told yourself that I don't know any better, and that means if I don't know any better, no one else can. That's absolutely not the right way to see things at all. But like when you're just constantly in that same dynamic, left, right, and centre all the time. It's like, where's the foresight? And that's my thing. Where's the foresight and where's the vision? Because I'm not really seeing it, if you can be that comfortable. And we're looking at Brojo. I told you guys in that video, and I said it very clearly, if Southampton come through with the right clauses, you know what I mean? We can probably guess what those clauses are going to be. We're going to do business with them and sell them. Because we can't, at the same time, say no to selling players, because they help us balance the books. We saw the recent financial reports that came out just like, I think last month or something. We're at a loss this season. You know, COVID hasn't helped as well too. But even after winning the Champions League and stuff like that, it was still a peak year financially. And when you deep the fact that we thought, you know, end of the Champions League, yeah, end of the Champions League. I think Matt Law's report came out. Roman has a 200 million war chest for us in the summer. It's time to invest. Did we see that? Bro, we literally had to sell players to fund the move for Lukaku. Do you actually understand that? We had to go bargain hunting for QnA to try and get him at like student discount. Do you understand that? How is Matt Law out here reporting stories about a 200 million war chest that clearly was never ever reality? Let's be real about that. I mean, when you're telling me that you've got to be selling these fantasy stories to the fans to get them hypes and gas, listen, it's not that hard. You produce a world-class academy that's showing that you've got players ready for now. That's not going to affect the quality level. That's not going to dip. If you use a handful more of these guys, then you can offset that by then spending good money, big money on actual positions we need. That's going to really boost the quality. It's not that hard. It really isn't. And man, the club keeps showing me otherwise, if I'm being absolutely real with you. But I'm going to answer a few more questions in the chat right now. Nick Hernandez, bro, I really appreciate that super chat, man. Thanks a lot. Wan CFC, what you telling me right here? Nini, I feel like we need to take the L with Lukaku, get rid of him, not just because his performance, but I feel his heart isn't here, no mentality. I mean, that's absolutely not the case at all, bro. If I'm keeping things real. I mean, we do this thing all the time, just like one little story. Yeah, I know. His interview, a bit of a dickhead move. I think we can understand that. But is it so much of a dickhead move that the club should now throw away the most expensive player in our entire history? To who? Who would fund that? Who would buy it? Like, let's be realistic. Like, obviously, you guys know I'm not on one of those fan channels that's just gonna be talking out from emotion. I'm not, emotion sells. That's what the algorithm wants. The algorithm feeds off getting people negative and angry because angry people watch things for longer and they're more in tune. You guys can go online and read that for yourself. That's how YouTube works. Yeah, I'm not gonna be out here appeasing that type of talk when in my head I logically know that the club, with how stringent we are, where, bro, ask yourself why we didn't sign Haaland. Now tell yourself, are we really going to get rid of Lukaku just like that? I mean, come on, man. Let's be real. But at the same time, of course, because, you know, I'm not going to be patronizing. Of course, I still appreciate the super chat, man. Thanks for that. But, you know, you want my real answer. I'm not going to be fake about that. Chris Skill08, I still care about Lukaku's interview. Won't buy his shirt. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, you know, people are entitled to, you know, feel how they want to feel about things. That's calm. That's really cool. That's fine. For me personally, because it's not the first time I've seen this type of shit before. Me personally, I don't really care because I know Lukaku is a world-class professional. I mean, I've never really seen a player actually. We always say this thing about players' hearts not being in it, whatever. Why does their heart have to be in it when they've signed a big money deal contract, where they've got clauses in that contract where they'll be performance related, where they'll be earning Dooku amounts of money, yeah? Like, what motivation is there? Like, when we all work, all of us fueled by motivation to work for like the club or our employees, whatever. No, it's not like that, and it's really not the same thing in football as well. So, you know what I mean? Like this whole like fantasy notion, like, you know, like the shirt and stuff holds more value. Listen, if you're a world-class player in a position like this, you have to think like, okay, look at all the big clubs, us, Bayern, Madrid, Man City, Barca, whatever. Let's say there's like 10 clubs, the very best clubs, where all those millions of kids, and that included me when I was young. I'm sure that included a lot of you guys as well too when you're younger, growing up, having fantasies and ambitions. From going from millions and millions across the world to essentially fill 250 spots for like the very best clubs in the world, if that's your ambition. Do you understand how you have to like move in your life? The type of dedication you need to have, the professionalism you need to have, you know, how you look after your body, all these little details. You know how on point it has to be to even have the opportunity and luxury to be able to be in a position to play for a club like this and other top clubs. So it's just like to think that, you know, the interview, which was only for Inter Milan fans, is going to affect his performance and he's not going to care. I mean, come on, man. It just does not work like that at all. And I feel like us fans, we can probably do a lot better than and kind of ignore these like really dated ways of seeing the game, because it just doesn't work like that in real life. Moving on to Nick Hernandez. Thank you, bro. Love your analysis. I think Cam is our weakest spot in the team, which is funny because we've signed hella Cams. No Lampard runs, no Cess passing, no De Bruyne magic at the 18. Our attack is wings or nothing. No midfield connection. Thoughts? Hey, my thought is that it's quite clear for me that we're missing one more player in the attack because we've prioritised not conceding, stopping opposition teams on the counter attack, and of course our system on getting wins and results. And the thing is, listen, if we rely on that forever, we'll win the odd trophy here and there, but we're not going to be winning the Premier League title like this, because as we've seen from last season when we picked up draws against Wolves and Leeds, lost to Aston Villa. I mean, let me put it this way, and this is what I mean, yeah? I feel like sometimes trophies will paper over cracks, and I just know that clubs like Man City, if they were to win any trophy, any title, and luck played a factor in that, that wouldn't be acceptable to them. I don't think that would be, to be honest with you. They work on that to improve, to make sure that it's more of a guarantee for the following season. And it's just like, I'm not here saying that our Champions League win was luck. No, I mean, look how we fucking played. We outplayed Atletico Madrid comfortably. We beat Porto, who were probably a bigger challenge than some of the other teams we played. We outplayed Real Madrid, some of the best games I've seen over how many fucking years, man. Outplayed them. Classic games. 2 legs against them. Classic games. We outplayed them. And against Man City, we outplayed them as well too. We did. We outplayed them as well. But to just like have a trophy pope over cracks, when it's just like, cool, that type of trophy win should be the impetus to push on and do even bigger. That should give you the confidence that with this current squad that we've been hearing all these years, is not at the right, it's still like a bit of time away. They have the quality to win things like this already. Yo, next season we're accelerating things even more. We're in the market, we're going to invest, we're going to boost the squad, we're going to get top players that we've been needed for God knows how long. And then if I hadn't seen that, then you're like, okay, the boards, they're not taking this trophy win for granted. They understand that this was an opportunity for success now and to push on to even greater heights. But that wasn't the case. We still got a lot of these squad guys here that you can never really rely upon, who don't really help things. You know, you're signing Lukaku for 100 mil. Bro, last season at Inter Milan, do you see how many goals and assists Hakimi was able to get for him and get for himself as well too? Do you think Lukaku had to point to Hakimi to fucking make an overlapping run down the flanks? Do you think Lukaku was doing that? Huh? Come on, man. It's at this level. It's not like that. It's instant. That connection is telepathic. It's instant. And here he comes to Chelsea Football Club, and he's got to tell Azpilicueta every time, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Because he's not there. He's not there. You know, how are you gonna have an attacker like that and you're not supplementing him properly throughout the whole squad? Will Alonso get 1 assist to this guy throughout the entire year? Let's be serious. Is he? Absolutely not. Yeah, we have to rely upon these guys for the next few months now because Ben's out for the whole season and Reece James is out for a few more weeks. And you know when he comes back, he's not going to be instantly ready. You'll still need like another week or two on top. So you're looking at, what, 10 weeks until Reece James is back like that. I mean, come on. And people want to be out here trying to scapegoat and, you know, and like be super critical on the players. Yeah, I don't see the same energy for the boards who, you know, like I said, they control the success because they're the ones who make these moves happen. They control everything. I mean, for me, it's simple, to be fair. But moving on, man, the CFC, love the content. Lives are lit. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys are all enjoying them. Give me one sec. That's this light calm. The light is back on. That's like the vibe and the lights on in the background, to be fair. But I've got some more super chats, you guys. Yeah, got a few of them. I appreciate you guys showing some love, showing some support. Means a lot. Brizaj B, Nini, would you sign Pogba? I mean, I'm thinking Pogba. If the plan is to persist with back three till I die, at least have a midfielder that can play balls over the top, for God's sake, that can actually play make. If that was the plan, how could I say no to Pogba? With N'Golo Kante alongside him, the World Cup winning midfields. Oh yeah, but Pogba at United, fuck what United are doing. They've not had. This is what I mean. We can't. I feel like we're this crossroads between we're like a United / like a City. We're in that crossroads where, listen, United's, they're not our rivals, yeah, and hopefully they won't be our rivals at all because they're gonna flop, they're gonna slip, they're not gonna have a strategy. Like whatever their big players are doing, that doesn't matter because they have no plan at that club at all because they're stupid owners. Whatever shit an agent talks, they'll happily overspend. You know what I mean? I remember that story of the Shakhtar boards laughing that they overpay for Freds. I mean, please, like that, they're not a serious club right now. They don't have serious owners or serious structures. Aziz, to be honest, it's time for Ziyech and Pulisic to leave. Okay, cool. And who else will play? Because I mean, let's be brutally honest. Has Kai brought like different levels of improvement on top of any of them? Has Werner brought different levels of improvement? Like other than Mason Mount, realistically, who gets more goals and assists compared to everyone else, who's really doing it like that? And my thing is, are people trying to say like the club made a mistake, what, 6 times, 5 times signing these guys? Like, do you know how colossal that would be? Nah, it's not that, you guys. It can't be that because you have to imply then that the club made a big mistake on these signings, which I don't remember a lot of people feeling at the time, because I remember a lot of excitement when I was covering these stories when we signed all these guys, to be honest with you. So for me, there's no way they're going to be able to perform. I mean, I don't know, like, do you not see the football? Like, when people watch us play week in, week out, I'll be really seeing a team that we just have that confidence, knowing the fact that that chance is coming. I mean, we look at those like momentum stats that come after the game. Do we have like a constant momentum? Or do our chance creation comes like every, 15-10 minutes or something like that, just like randomly? So like that tells you straight away that more work can be done on the attack. So I'm not going to be out here saying the attack's shit, especially when I really can't think of any player other than Mbappe and like the big money guys that will never ever sign for us because these guys grew up speaking about Barcelona and Real Madrid, etc., etc. Nah, I'm sorry, I don't see it like that. Isaiah Jallo, hey man, you think Azar alone is a good idea? I mean, I'm not even fucking surprised, to be honest, because Azar's been on the club scouting books for years and years. I did stories on this before in the past as well too, on his channel. No surprise that we got to Scott McCacklin's scouting book many times we're desperate, to be fair, but this is what I mean, you know, desperation modes we're in right now. Desperation modes, and you go for these mid players, so I'm not impressed, to be honest with you. ISS Merchant, why do you think the board are so incompetent? I think it's from the structures, to be honest with you. I think it comes from Roman. Like I was saying about Man City, yeah. When Sheikh Mansour took over, he wasn't taking over to give to his colleagues at work. Like, I'm just gonna say this here because I'm gonna keep it for my video. But no one said anything that Roman kind of hired his assistant to take over the club. A lot of the guys at the board level as well too. They're all like friends of his, people he knows, business relations, etc., etc. So that's what I'm gonna say, and I let you think about what I'm trying to imply with that. Varun, hey man, our system is designed to help the defense and midfield. You're damn right. Help the defense and help the midfield. Our midfields who are very good, very good. I respect Jorginho and Kovacic. I don't have to say any more than that. But they have their own profile, and their profile is they like to play on the ground all the time. And I just think sometimes when you have an attack where maybe sometimes they don't want the balls on ground non-stop. Not all the time. Sometimes you need to have the quality, yeah. Not to play a long ball just sides of the heads, but a lofted ball over the top. And I think our midfield show that they can't really do that. But the ones that can, I know Kai can play them. I know Mason can. But it means you have to play a different way. For me, I'm ready for a new way of playing. Because I don't know if we'd ever been a league title with Cover and Jorginho. That's not saying they're bad. But what I'm trying to really imply is that way of playing football, it has certain limitations that can be exposed. Yeah, if you kind of involve the style and make a few tweaks here and there, you can make that style of football a lot harder. And for me, I think you need to have a happy medium between having the system and players able to express themselves properly in the system. Because as I keep saying, why do we go for big money guys who cost us tons of money and we put them in the highest wages compared to any other player in the club? For example, Timo Werner, 270k a week, when they don't even want to give Rudiger 180k per week, which is a minimum he's asking for, by the way. 140 max. You know what I mean? Even though he's been much more key and clutch for us over this past 12 months. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So let me get back to your question. We need more attacking centric system for sure. But to do that, we need an athletic, physical CDM. Exactly. And it's just tactics again. You know, tactics. It feels like a lot of people only care about tactics after we win. But when you lose, tactics then doesn't really matter. It's not as important, and it becomes excuse making, which that's what I mean, man. I just really ignore those man who talk that type of shit. To be fair, it means that you're not really seeing, your understanding is not as high as you're telling yourself. I'm just putting it out there. But it's obvious we do. I mean, why do you think fucking Liverpool signed Fabinho? They needed a guy that's going to cover those horizontal spaces. If they want to have Alexander-Arnold getting assists for fun, breaking records left, right and centre, and Robertson down the side as well, obviously if they're going to push up, there's going to be space in behind. If your CDM don't have the legs or physicality to cover that ground and then win his duels with a high success rate and have the technical proficiency as well to keep that ball going and keep the attack going, then you're fucked, aren't you? Because teams will just target the spaces in behind, your defense will then get stretched, be out of position, and you're conceding goals left, right and centre, like we were seeing before under Frank Lampard. You know what I mean? So this is why you sign a guy like that. Because Kante was doing that, and that's the funny thing, yeah? When Kante was fit for Lampard, we went on that unbeaten run, which involved wins against like Sevilla's and other teams as well too. Yet the minute he was injured and others were, everything went to shit again. And that told you that tells you how unsustainable it was, because we didn't have the right profiles there to keep that momentum going. And that's the whole point of having a squad. So yeah, we have now players, and your Gallagher's, Mason Mount, I'm looking at Kai Havertz, who for me is more of a box-to-box mid. I think now that we signed Lukaku, it means Kai will never play false nine. And this whole notion that people really think that, I was reading all this nonsense actually, I've been real with you. Use Lukaku for the small games, if the big games use Kai Havertz, because last season when we won a few games with the counter-attack, it proved that it works. I mean, what basic reasoning is that, for God's sake? Are you serious? The record guy is going to be left out like that in the big games. It just shows like some people aren't really understanding the reality of how this sport works sometimes. I'm not going to lie. But it's nonsense. You know, what you do is you've got to supplement these big money guys, big high wage earners, with the right personnel around them. It's what you do. And for me, I think there's a big disconnect. I feel like from the defence, the wing backs, the midfield, that's all calm, but the attack doesn't really suit that when they were all kind of doing different things. Like Ziyech, Ajax, for example, this was a guy that was not only the playmaker and the goal scorer, but he was allowed to drift inside and roam and link up. I mean, is everyone forgetting in the Champions League that Ajax, I wanted them to get to the final, fuck Spurs and Lucas Moore for that last minute winner. They didn't deserve it, in my opinion. But we're forgetting that quartet, the link up play of him, with Neres, of Tadic, and all these guys, Van der Beek as well. The football they was playing. The switch balls Ziyech was playing. The lofted through balls, the wonder goals. I mean, I can go on. I can really go on. I can go on. Then I look at someone like Kai Havertz, who he seems to still bang goals for the national team, playing with other very good players as well too. This guy was scoring goals in his debut season. He's getting double digits, this guy. He's 6'3". He's fast. He's strong. He's very good in the air. He's got incredible attacking IQ in terms of late arrivals inside the box. Does have good finishing. But the reason why all these guys who had good finishing elsewhere when we sign them but don't have it here is that because our chances come so sporadically. It's just like you kind of just fuck up the psychology here. Because the thing is that unfortunately, they're still human beings. And because of that annoyance, because these guys are still human beings, it means that they're going to be affected by confidence. If you're not getting a consistent supply of regular chances, you know them ones where, come on, look at the big teams like City, look at Liverpool, Bayern's big teams. Are they, every time they score goals, are they scoring like let's say Bayern scored 100 goals in a season? Is that coming from 100 unique attacking plays? No, it's not. It's coming from like a regular chance creation and regular patterns that get worked upon. That the players, not only is it worked on in training, but then that is boosted even more because the players' understanding of each other grows and grows and grows. That's what we're lacking right now. When we create chances, most regular ones is more from set pieces right now. From open play, it seems a bit random and on the cuff. It's not like a regular execution. We've only seen the tiniest of glimpses. The tiniest of glimpses, looking at the Juventus win, Leicester, tiny. That's not really been reflective enough over the past 12 months. And even then, it wasn't the attacking players shining in those games. That was the wing-backs shining because they're in better scoring situations because the attackers are making space for them. So this is what I'm saying at the end of the day, you know. Think about a natural football player. Think about like their experiences and what they did to get to the top, yeah. Think about how they run their lives. You know, we see with their social media posts and shit like that. These are rich guys, yeah. Also, they got egos, all of them. Like egos isn't just applied only and solely to like a Cristiano Ronaldo and only he's allowed to have an ego, bro. The whole game. I'm sure you guys who was playing club football, whatever, all that type of stuff. You see it yourself, grassroots levels, yeah. That's how the game is. Do you think these guys didn't have ambitions to be stockpiling on assists and goals and been playing the decisive parts and being the main focus? Do you think that they're just thinking as long as we win, that's all that matters? No. It does not work like that. I'm telling you, I promise you. It does not work like that. They have their own personal career ambitions on top of their ambitions to win trophies and play well. And my thing is that those attacking guys haven't been the ones shining like they should be, considering the money we've spent on them. And that has to be something that's seriously taken, in my opinion. Yeah, it's got to be seriously taken. Seriously taken. That is the final piece of the puzzle to solve if we are going to really seriously challenge Man City. Because even a part of me thinking, let's say Reece James, Joel's even back in the system. I mean, does that guarantee that we're going to be like, what, 1 point behind Man City coming into the season? No, I still think City will still be at least, maybe it won't be like 20 points now. It might be, I don't know, 12 points, but it's still a big gap. And that's going to be a few games that's cost you. And the only difference is taking responsibility in the moment. So look at City, how many last minute winners have they scored recently during December? They know how to turn those nearly games into wins. When we used to win league titles, your Drogba's, your Lampards, all these big legends back in the day, they was bringing that vibe to the team. The squad players around them was also bringing that. Remember Alex? Remember Alex back in the day, that Brazilian defender? Talking about squad players with impact, yeah? I look at Rudiger, you know, he's a world-class player. Right now he is, for sure. But this guy can't strike a ball for shit. And how many times did Alex's power free kicks from 30 yards, 35? Like, when's the last time we've even seen a goal score from 35 yards? Do you understand? Like, had that distance away from the field. I can't remember the last time in years I've seen a strike from that far away. Maybe a Luis free kick, 10 years ago, whatever. But we have players like them, like your Belays, even Bosingwas, them squad guys that would be there adding to the win. And these are also guys you could rely upon if the big guys were out and injured. Like that is the level we have to get back to, like structurally and fundamentally. And as we've seen with some recent signings, you know, respect to your Alonso's and stuff, we won league titles, but let's be serious, man. It was in spite of you. It was really more down to what we've done recently. You know, covering ourselves, covering over the cracks with the few trophy wins here and there, is that we've always relied upon a big game world-class player. That player before was Eden Hazard. If we didn't have Hazard over the past few years, you guys, there would have been no league titles. You understand that? If it wasn't for Eden Hazard, the fact that somehow we always managed to find a way to sign one of like the top 5 players in the world. Yeah, we've always had that since Broman's taken over. And the benefit that brings. It was Hazard, and recently, with the other trophies, it's been N'Golo Kante. Because I'm sorry, if there was no Kante against Real Madrid, if there was no Kante in the Champions League final last season, we're not winning that. It's really that simple. We are not winning that if Kante is not playing, because there's been times in other finals when Kante hasn't played and we haven't won those games, yeah? That's the difference. And it's just like, we can't just like blag our way to like these opportunistic wins. For me, we've been there, we've done that. I respect it, it's history, calm. But now it's got to be a bit more deeper than that. It's got to be a bit more structural than that now. It has to be more of like, this is the vision behind our model now. And this is what we can also rely upon. So we won't be in situations where, you know, we have to rely that we can like bag one of these like top 5 guys as we here and there. It's got to be deeper than that, in my opinion. Anyway, let me move on though. I think I've got a few more super chats, you guys. I'm really just taking my time with answering these questions. I hope you guys are enjoying though. Sean Kenner, hey man, love the content. Nearly missed my earlier super chat. Oh, sorry, Sean. Let me find that. Okay, I found it. We miss passing mids like Tchouaméni, Rice, De Jong, who can spot runs behind. Would you sell purely Ziyech, Timo for Dembele and another white wing mids? Right now we need a wing back. Yeah, right now we need a wing back. I guess if it's going to be Dest, how long is that going to take to get it done? Wow. Still got no one 3 weeks into the window. Even though, back before the new year even turned, Leon already said no to a second bid to Emerson, you know. Just putting that out there. But anyway, Tchouaméni, of course, Tchouaméni had another outstanding game today is what I'm hearing. I mean, like I said, you know, sometimes a few people might worry that, oh, he could be another Bakayoko. But I'm just thinking, that's just so simplistic. I mean, because the guy's black and comes from Monaco, it must mean that there's a relation. I mean, please, man. Some people got to think sometimes before they type things or say things for real. But this is a Chelsea mids that, you know, we normally sign. We don't screw up on. Essie and Kante. For me, the next one, Tchouaméni now, has to be signed. The price down in this market is too crazy to say no. And he's the type of player that will improve another big team. And then we're fucked even more in the future. So get this guy signed right now. He can do it all. He can play, and he can play make as well. I'd sell Timo Werner. I'd go, like I said, man, a club like us, go for those inside forwards, go for those wingers who can also have the ability to, you know, attack the spaces, break the lines, assist and score goals. You know, we're not Tottenham where you just sign one of each type. You know, clubs like us, we have the fortune of being able to sign the very best players like that who can do more. I think Dembele, you know, I know people are talking about his injury crisis, whatever, but listen, even when you have this guy for 50% of your season, how many wonders is he bringing to your team? You know what I mean? How much wonder does he bring into that team? He's one of those guys where that individual ability that you can't coach, where, you know, he's not gonna, you know, let's say Cancelo or Walker's closing him down, he's not gonna get nervous and then play an easy pass backwards and slow the play down and we've got to restart another attack. He's got the quality and composure and skill and ability and confidence to take him on, beat him, and create something from that. I mean, that's the difference. So, yeah, they're the type of changes I have to see in the summer. If we can get business for Werner, sell him. Not because he's a bad player, but I've seen that if you're not going to use him in his best way, which you've shown we're not going to do, I think that's abundantly clear now. Sell him on and sign better suited players, more multi-dimensional players that, listen, if your plan is to sack managers forever to win trophies and you want to be super like that, whatever, but at least bare minimum, make sure future managers aren't going to be screwed over because they don't have the right personnel that they could actually do something with to fucking save their asses and keep their jobs. That's how I see it, to be fair. President Jafar, hey man, Morata, Torres, Werner, now Lukaku, strikers that flourish at other clubs struggle at Chelsea, but fans blame the strikers. Listen, I'll break down Morata. For me, Morata is how he was always going to be. I mean, the guy Ideally, if this was like back in the day, he would be like the second striker you sign up front with like a Drogba or something. You know what I mean? He's a guy that, okay, Drogba is injured, or you know, he's getting a bit overloaded now. You got to take the next game or 2 games out. Morata, you're going to play. Ideally, that's the type of striker he is, and I think that's why the big clubs still appreciate him. He's not going to ever get you 20, 25 plus, 30 plus goals. He'll get you at least over 12 goals minimum a season, and a few of them will be important ones. But you know, reality is that he was like another panic one, reaction signing, based on the fact that we fucked up signing Lukaku to begin with. And this is the mad thing. Look how Conte was desperate for this guy. We didn't sign him even though he wanted to come back and everything. I don't know what it was. Again, money issues again, not wanting to pay the money to Raiola. Even though now in the future, fast forward, he spent even more money on top than what we would have had to spend to begin with if we had signed him back then. And with how Conte has always dreamt of how he was going to use Lukaku. Just imagine for a second if Conte at the time, after winning the league for us, secured Lukaku, playing the type of football that we saw at Inter Milan. Like, can you imagine that? How different that would have been. It's crazy, but it sums up the club. I look at Fernando Torres, it's another Roman Abramovich signing where he'll just go on YouTube, look at comps, he'll look at players that did well against us and think, that's it, I need to sign this guy. He's got no experts there to help his opinion, because he's a fucking billionaire. He's a billionaire. He can sign who he wants. You know, the club had this weird fascination of constantly undermining Didier Drogba back in the day. Every season linked with a new striker. Every time he signed a striker, Drogba's still number 1 and still leading. And who's the guy poetically who wins us the Champions League? That's what makes that first Champions League like that is like real football history. That was like a fucking movie. That whole Champions League run, honestly, I still get goosebumps just thinking about it sometimes, you know. And I still thank my lucky stars I was lucky enough to be at that game. Well, that's something I'll tell my grandkids about, for real. But it's just like constantly undermining him. And then you sign a Fernando Torres, and then what was we doing back in the day? We were using him as a target man. We weren't playing that way that Liverpool did. Liverpool played everything towards him. We've never been a club that will play exclusively everything towards a striker. That won't happen. So we wasted 50 mil just like that on a player who was already starting to show he's a bit finished. And that's because Roman wanted to sign him. Same thing with Shevchenko. We know that for time since Roman signed the club. He always wanted to see one of his favourite players, Shevchenko, signed. Did it matter about the tactics or how it was going to work? Nah. It doesn't matter, because, you know, when he has his will, he'll always get his way. And a recent one was Kai Havertz. You know, we're all forgetting too. You guys can Google it yourselves too. The guy to really push through the signing of Havertz was Roman, who was like, I can't afford to see this guy sign for anyone else. And my thing is, okay, calm. You know, you wanted to sign Havertz, but then what are you showing in terms of like the system and the methodology behind how we're gonna really achieve his potential? I'm not saying nothing. Even if Kai Havertz played up front with Lukaku, I feel it's a bit mad where you have 2 attacking players with left feet. Yeah, I know, like, you're like, was it Dwight York and Andy Cole back in the 90s was doing that, but football is a lot more detailed right now, yeah. It just feels like, ideally, they need to complement each other, right? Like, of course, you don't just sign 2 similar guys. Look at Martinez, look at Lukaku. Lukaku with the left foot, Martinez with the right foot. Martinez, a guy, you know, back to goal, very good in tight areas, very good dribbling as well, to bring in that fantasy element, can play make as well and behind, and also score goals and score those real technical goals as well. That's the perfect type of like foil for Lukaku. That's like a beautiful partnership that works, and that the detail matters. Like, if you had a left foot, would it necessarily be as impactful? Because that's how you got to see it, yeah. You know them certain games where you look back at the highlights and it's like, if only that pass was pulled off, if only this was done right. Those details matter, because you can boost your chances very smallly to, of course, create those opportunities and boost your chances to win. Because like I said, when you're in the business of actually winning, and that's your strategy and that's what you do, those fine margins, those super fine margins become even bigger. And that's hence why you look at the business that a club like Liverpool's done, not too many L's, if I'm being honest with you. People might talk about guys like Keita, even though you can't predict injuries. You might look at Man City or talk about Mendy. I mean, you can't really predict what this guy's doing behind the scenes. Not gonna lie, what a dirty fucker that guy is, to be honest. But that's what I'm saying. Like, really, the big guys who are supposed to change the dimension of the team: Salah, Mane, Alisson, Van Dijk, these Fabinho, the big guys. You look at City, De Bruyne, Sterling. You look at Cancelo. You look at Diaz, Laporte. You can go on. Rodri. You know, like, imagine City wanted Jorginho, and then literally because we was able to get him with Sarri, they was able to get the Jorginho with physicality, which has helped them even more transitioning away from Fernandinho. And that's the reality. How many of their big boy signings fail and don't produce the goods compared to us? Yeah. And I think they're the questions people need to ask themselves, to be fair. Moving on though, Swiss Daniel, hypothetically we play 4-3-3. For me, Kai would play on the right hand sides of the midfield three easily. Like I saw on the Lampard, I saw very early on. Mount is he was never a Lampard region. He was never that. It's just, you know, this lazy, like, press headlines, how it normally is. Mount was more of a creator. And I really feel like, not that, when I say Modric, I'm not trying to say that Mount is like Modric, but I'm just talking about in terms of impact, in terms of Mount plays those pre-assists. Mount plays those passes that speeds the tempo of a game. He can play those balls over the top. He can switch the play with quality. You know what I mean? Those little details where you have that type of guy in a team that has a Kai Havertz opposite him, who's the real guy that will, like, break into the books, break the lines, who also has the ability we're all forgetting. Bro, just go and look at Havertz's highlight reels right now on YouTube, yeah? Let's not forget some of the passes he was playing in behind at Leverkusen. And then ask yourself, when's the last time you've seen Havertz play any pass or make any assists of any kinds, like what he was doing regularly back when he was a kid? Like, ask yourself that. Why is that type of talent, which he was showing a lot, why are those skills, those moves, those passes, those runs, you know what I mean, those dribbles, why are they not being translated with how we play? Why are we only just seeing Kai playing back to goal? Why are we only seeing Kai going for balls in the air? Why are we only seeing Kai Havertz on the left-hand side now, doing the Timo Werner role, you know, playing far away from goal, and now having to take shots with his left foot from the left-hand side when this guy was doing it from the right-hand side his whole career? And for me, the fact that Kai can now defend and press and work hard easily, for me, this is my dream. This is my dream. My dream, yeah. Kante, Tchouaméni, Mount, Gallagher, Havertz, and Loftus-Cheek. I think that's the 6 midfield players. People might say Ruben, blah, blah, blah. Listen, if you're playing 4-3-3, you want 4 box-to-box mids, and you want to have your 2 DMs. Kante, he can still play further up when he has to, but he can also play as a DM. The fact that this guy is getting older, I thought we could get even more years from Kante if he naturally will transition a bit deeper, which is a normal thing that happens in football, yeah. So a lot of players get older, sometimes their game transitions, they move a bit deeper. We've seen it time and time again. I don't have to explain it. You got a success in Tchouaméni, who will let Kante breathe. You then have your Gallagher, who's shown, bro, 7 goals in the league already. The type of goals he's scoring, not no simple tap-ins. He's showing composure under extreme stress. He's showing the ability to know when to time those runs. That composure, he's winning matches, making that difference. That's a big thing to do, yeah, to win, to be the game winner. He's already showing that, and he combines that with knowing how to pass, how to move, how to play one touch, and most importantly, pressing from the front too. You've got Mason Mount, we know what he can do. The guy can, it's stupid the amount of different roles he can play. It doesn't make any sense, and he's still playing the same quality. Very unique player. If he was German, he's seen completely differently. If he's Italian, he's seen completely differently. But because he's English, that will always be used against him. Then you have your Kai Havertz's, who's, you know what I mean? You have Gallagher, Mount, Kai, the main guys competing for that first team spot in a midfield 3. We know what Kai can do. There's a lot more to come from him. I just feel that when you commit to signing Lukaku, you're basically saying Kai will never be a false 9 for us. And he'll never be a winger like that, really. I don't want him to play on the right-hand side. For me, midfield 3, the attacking guy in that mid 3, the guy where if you've got Lukaku and you want him to be a focal point at times, have Kai Havertz being the one to come off those layoff passes. We saw the few odd times when him and Tammy Abraham were showing that. Yeah, we remember the goals that Kai was scoring, but look how he was playing as a 10, just briefly. Just for those small few months before COVID came and just ruined everything. Look at how Kai was playing as a 10. Just remember that. This is what YouTube's here for a reason. The highlights are there. Yeah. Sometimes we have to refresh our memories because we can forget what these guys were doing and how they were cooking beforehand. But look back at what Kai was doing and then tell me how that will not translate in tomorrow's game if we make those brave decisions and calls, yeah, to play that way. Boom. I mean, come on. That'll work. And you'll see a Kai Havertz who has the ability to influence the game with his feet, with his passes, and also with winning goals and getting inside the box too. And of course, how can I forget Mateo Kovacic as well? Listen, Loftus-Cheek or Kova, I don't really care. Kovacic has had a great season. Of course, this guy can easily play in the midfield 3 as well too. And we've seen the quality he brings, the composition levels as well too, what I could do. Like, that's what I mean. A midfield 6 like that, that's for me a world-class midfield. That's a midfield that will be one of the like great midfields very easily in the next season or two. And you know, people talk about, we can't wait for tomorrow. Of course we can. I mean, how many times have we gone through seasons not getting the success we thought we were going to get because we had no plan? I mean, I'm sorry, like, you've already got the glimpses already that, okay, they've proven it, the guys were here. Kai, Mount, how they linked up in the Champions League final. Some of Kai's goals in the Champions League in the later stages as well too, what Mount did too. We've already got glimpses already that, okay, these aren't just like maybe players, these are for sure definites that a handful of seasons will be those guys with that level. That midfield 6, that's one where you compete on all fronts. Even if you had an injury to 2 of them, long-term ones, you're still competing with that quality left over, yeah? You get those guys, and then you sign the right attacking players. I think you'd see Hudson and Pulisic transform if they're playing as wingers down the left-hand side. Hudson with more of the playmaking, Pulisic with more of their attacking dribbles. The right-hand side, you got Ziyech with his creativity. And for me, then you'd sign another guy on the right-hand side as well that can also compete, provide good competition, because that's what it's about at this level. Competition, yeah. These guys compete week in, week out to be in that first team. You don't want to be in a position where you have your first main team and then the rest know that they'll never have a chance. You can't do that because that will fuck you over if anything happens to those first team players. You sign a guy on the right, that could be Dembele. I'd be more than happy with that as well too. And then up front, you've got Lukaku, and you bring out Broja. I think that's what you do. I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that hard. It means you sell a few of the guys you have, you revamp how you use certain guys in the team too. Werner can go. I mean, the fact that Lukaku's here, he'll never be a striker for us. I mean, he's not good enough to be playing as a left wing because in this league where the ball gets played wider and the spaces aren't like it is in the Bundesliga, yeah? Your Tekers is on show and you keep showing that football side's not part of you. I mean, it never has been. That's not been your game. And to be fair on him, he shouldn't have been signed to do that. But it shows when you're not about the details, what can happen and how you can pay the price for it in the future. Sell him, let him go, and then it's very easy, you guys. It's very easy. You've got your Reece Jameses. You sign someone to compete alongside him. Someone where it's like if Reece ain't about or needs a rest, you know you have that competition guy there who will bring good quality and bring something to the team. Yeah, your defense, you have to keep Rudiger. You don't let him go. You've got Silva there as well. You bring back Levi Colwill. Why? Because he'll benefit learning under Thiago Silva just for one season. The amount of knowledge he'll pick up from him. And I say this because John Terry would go on. And the key difference between why Terry became the defender he became was that he had your Leboeufs and your Desailly's at the time schooling him a running game. That's how it works. That's how it works. So don't waste the opportunity where Colwill won't learn from that, because this is how players improve and go to the next level, man. Him, Rudiger, Silva. Listen, if Chris don't want to say whatever, calm. But don't wait until, the end of the summer window before you decide that. If he's not committing, give him a timeline. Let's say, okay, Chris, we appreciate what you did. Won't forget how you performed for us in the Champions League final, what you've done, from being at the club for 10 years, you've really done a great service for this club. You don't want to stay cool. We're in the market. QnA, cool, we're going to see you next season. That's what you do. We got options there already. Left hand side too. Those guys, you Emerson's, Alonso's, they go. They have to go now. They have to go. Sell them on straight. We know Emerson's destined to go now that he's staying at Lyon. Alonso, hey, we respect what you did. Adios. Adios, amigo. Adios. You get a left back of quality as well too that can compete. One guy I'm hearing a lot about that Tuchel really likes to is Ian Maatsen. I know Ian Maatsen I've been hearing really fucking impressed Tuchel during pre-season. I feel like this kid could have a chance during pre-season next, man. That's really good to hear. If everyone loved Lewis Hall, it's Cobham DNA. It is Cobham DNA. Like these, Maatsen was also playing in midfield as well, you know. He was also playing further up too. He's also playing as a cam. Like there's a reason why we produce sick quality down either flank because they're like midfield players out wide essentially, or wingers outside. Like they're the real deal ones. This guy could have a future, looks interesting with Tuchel likes, and let's see what happens. But I don't think we're too far off having a real serious team in which not only having Tuchel here now, who knows how to set a team up. Bro, look how this guy... Do you understand what Tuchel even did? When we played against Spurs in that Carabao Cup semi-final first leg, Kante and Silva were supposed to play those games, meaning that we were going to be back three. Found out very late that they both picked up COVID, thinking, shit, I'm fucked. Like, I wasn't planning for this. Look what this guy did in a short amount of time. That 4-4-2 asymmetrical system, yeah. You understand how special Tuchel is? To get that, just like that, under pressure, short notice, and the whole team bought into that. And look how we absolutely outplayed Spurs. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing for Tottenham. Like, this gives me all the confidence of all that this is our manager. This is our manager, yeah. This is the manager that, back when we used to have your Mourinho's, you know that when he had, like, already first generation Mourinho at this club. The guy was doing tactics I hadn't even seen. Like, for me, one tactic that I will never forget. I will never ever forget. Barcelona, 05-06 season. Back when Messi got sent off. No, sorry. Back when Del Horno, that dickhead, when he got sent off, don't know what he was doing on Messi. The guy wasn't levels at all, to be fair with you. What did Mourinho do? Did he do what managers do these days? So you take off an attacking player to bring on a defender? No. This guy moved Robben and Drogba up front because he's like, I'm still going to go for it. And on a different night, we still create opportunities where we could have still won the game. And this is the difference here. This is like having a manager that gives you a tactical edge. He gives you another advantage because he can change the game like that. With a proper squad that he can really rely upon too, special things can come from that. And the fact that he knows how to set a team up to win, to defend. People talk about back fours and they think about Frank Lampard. Sorry, is Tuchel and Lampard the same? Do they have the same tactics, the same principles, the same ideas? So you're telling me that if we go to a back four, why would Frank Lampard back four come back when it's Thomas fucking Tuchel? And we already saw briefest examples of what that could look like with how we played against Spurs in the first leg and in the second leg as well too. Give this guy a proper squad. And I'm Tuchel as well too. Don't just say yes to these dickheads at the board. Please don't just be a yes man and just say yes for no reason. If you're not going to get your guys for you, stick it on them and be like, no, I want this guy. You have to move like that. That's a small example. If Lampard didn't do that for Ben Chilwell, who the fuck would be playing for us at left back right now? Like, can you imagine that? Who would be playing for us? And who would have been the guy against Real Madrid in the Champions League final that absolutely pocketed this guy like how Ashley Cole pocketed Ronaldo back in the day? If those wing backs fucked up against Mahrez and Sterling, we wouldn't have won the Champions League because the tactics would have failed. It wouldn't have worked. So this is the difference between backing, supporting, and bringing in those real deal players. We're really not that far off. Honestly, we're not that far off. It's going to take assertiveness from the boards. It's going to take ruthlessness because certain players are good for us. I'll give an example. Jorginho is a great player, a good player. But I'm not going to keep a player on who can only play on the grounds, even though we've won things with that. That's not going to last for the next 5-7 years, is it? That's not. If I have a guy like this, that's going to affect how my attack's going to work. Can't be run like that, I'm sorry. Make brave calls. You're like Jorginho, the guy got nominated for awards. He's already come off the back of the Euros. He's been playing week in, week out. Juventus, fears 40, give us 40 mil. Boom, he's yours. And use that 40 mil for Tchouaméni if it's got to be 1 in, 1 out all the time. Make smart adjustments, man. We're not that far off from having a proper team that not only have that Chelsea spirit of being able to defend and battle when they have to, but have the quality to score goals, make a difference, affect the game as well too. That is them two things, man. That's what I'm asking for. Please, I have to see that. We're not far off. It has to happen. But so yeah, thank you, Swiss Daniel. On some long ass tangent, just explaining from Kai Havertz, going all the way, just meandering to this point, to that point, to that point. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying this. I'm hoping you are. Moving on to Cannon Show. Say you're a manager. What tactic changes for you? Okay, I think I've basically answered that too. I appreciate that, Canish. I think I've got some more super chats. You guys, I really appreciate the love you're showing right now. Thank you so much. Tony Tone, swap Timo for Martial. Sorry, man, I can't have Martial. Listen, there's a few seasons back when I keep telling you guys when I was making them videos, we really were talking to Martial. There was no official bid, so it was just trying to find out from United how much would it cost? Could a deal happen here? And at the time, no. I'm sure Martial regrets that, but right now, I'm sorry. Like, you know, if you want to be like trying to win trophies now, no more players who you're not taking any risks on. Like, you know, clubs like Spurs, that they take the rejects on big clubs and take a gamble on them. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not even trying to be disrespectful like that. I'm not trying to dismiss the player or even dismiss Tottenham, even though I don't care about them. But if you want to be winning all the time on a level like Man City, would a club like Man City sign a cast off from another big club? That's not going to happen. So we can't do the same thing. Moving on to Vatsal. Why even think of sending captain and leader Aspie? Well, it depends on if Aspie gets the contract he wants, which for me, I think he deserves. I keep him as part of the squads, but I'm sorry. I just think that now, you know, like I'm saying, the fact that he can't cover both boxes like he used to back in the day, that's going to hamper us in the future. And we're at a time now where we need to fully transition away from the olds, embrace the new, and watch them grow and cook. We did that before. We have to get back to that. And if we have to make sacrifices like Aspie's too, we have to. We have to, because I'm sorry, I can't have another slow fallback for next season. I'm being honest with you. I can't have more like lethargicness out wide in a team that needs to have guys with pace who can run in behind and stretch and add more to the team. I'm sorry, I can't do that again. Not when City. Did City have any guys like that in the team? I mean, come on, man. Fushy Tube, bro, be honest. Do you think our attackers are good enough to win us the league? Of course, if they're used properly. And this is what I mean. Like, I watch a lot of football that's not just Chelsea. So, like I said, a lot of these guys, when I'm talking about them in videos and stuff, not because I watched the little comp video that I put in the video. Most of the times I don't even watch them. I just literally download them real quick from YouTube and let's stick it in there because it makes my life a bit easier, not gonna lie. Of course, these guys have the talent, but in football, it's about how you use them and how you get the best out of them. That's why tactics and things matter. That's why, I mean, look, you guys, let me just give another brief example. How can Pulisic go from getting double digits in goals like he did in his first season, where at Dortmund he never ever showed that he would be a guy that could get that goal tally? How can he do that to then go back to not scoring goals again? If you assess why, you see the differences with how he's been used, the system, how he played, all these little details, and that's what ultimately matters. You know, people think that when you just sign like a big name player now, it means that they have to be able to do everything. It's not like football was 20 years ago where it was like that. It's really not like that anymore. Like, when you're signing these players, you've got to be looking at, for me, what makes them shine, what makes them stand out, and whether they suit what you're trying to do. Like Man City, do Man City, when they sign players, are they signing players that don't fit how they play? Some of those players might get tweaks every now and then. It's not a consistent thing. It's not even a desperation thing. It's just a tactical thing every now and then. You might see Grealish play false nine sometimes if they have to, but he's not really playing there all the time. You know, I'm not seeing Sterling being used as a wing back in times for any nonsense situations like how he was used at Liverpool. I'm not seeing De Bruyne having to like move out left and right like how he was doing for us. You're not seeing Silva being missed. You don't see that. Those details, you know, how they play at their clubs is the same skill set they're bringing to a team like City, because that's what they're trying to use in their game style. And we don't do that. I look at guys like, I have so many examples, and our attackers are good, and this fantasy notion people have that, well, we're just going to keep spending money. Was money the answer to solving our issues? Like, who are the players? You guys in the chat, man, who are these players on the market right now who will come into this current system of how we play and just exponentially improve upon the goals, chance creation, the football that all these big guys that we signed over the past 2 years can't do? Like, I'm actually being dead serious in the chat right now. I'm really curious, not even to be like aggressive or a dickhead, but I'm really curious to see, like, who are examples of players that people feel could, because I'm honestly keeping an open mind. Maybe there's certain players that someone's gonna like drop, you guys are gonna like drop, and they'll be like, oh shit, actually thinking of it that way, I didn't even think of it like that, I didn't even see it like that. I'm always open. That's how I am. But I'm honestly really curious, who are examples of players in the market where if they're signed in the summer, we know for sure are having an instant impact that improves upon all the rest of the big money signings recently. Anyway, though, moving on to Moose Wizards. Do we have a chance at Haaland to get rid of Lukaku? First of all, number one, I don't see how the fuck that's going to happen. Number two, Haaland, I don't even think he wants to come to us. Like, we had a chance in the summer. We didn't have 150 mil ready for Dortmund, so it was a waste of all our time, to be honest. I don't think that's happening at all. And even if he was signed, if Tuchel's plan was to use Lukaku like this, then what was the plan for Haaland? Because like, if you guys watch Haaland, of course, you just see the goals and stuff, but don't forget Bundesliga tactics is a real thing. Dortmund play very attacking football because their business model is to make 100 mil plus on these young guys that they sell. And if these young guys stat pad playing in a very open attacking style game, which means that Dortmund will never really win that many trophies or do anything like that. But in terms of the business model, they're going to make stupid amounts of money time and time again, season in, season out, because of how they play. Then yeah. Moving on though to Tolu. I'm sure I heard Tuchel say in a presser he doesn't like coaching attackers to allow them to use their creativity. Our attackers could use some coaching. Yeah, I honestly, that you could be right. I honestly just don't know, to be fair. So I'm not gonna I don't like to say things I don't know. Like I said, you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to like even think back on like Tuchel's times at Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain. I felt like if that was like something I would remember, but I'm not too sure, to be fair. I'm not too sure. A part of me just really feels like maybe this is very like basically 70% of me feels that the way Tuchel sets the team up is entirely circumstantial based on the current set of players he has. He'll find the best common denominator system wise, and when you've got someone like Jorginho, like I said, it's not even a disrespectful thing. I'm sure you guys play FM, or some of you guys have. I know a lot of you guys who watch me, you got appreciation of the tactical side of the game, of course. That's why you're all football nerds, man. But like, Jorginho is exclusively, you know, an on-the-ground midfield player. And that means in certain games, when you need him to be able to play off the ground, he can't do that. I mean, when Sarri said literally that first season, listen, Jorginho is not a good pass like Fabregas, he can't do that, he's right. And Jorginho's not in the team for his passes to be able to split teams open like that. It never has been. It's about, you know, how he brings structure in the middle. It's about that tempo control. It's about how he plays those line-breaking passes for midfield players around him to take advantage of. It's about how he can, you know, for me, he's a world-class short passer. Absolutely world-class. You know, the way he helps evade the press too, to kickstart and build attacks time and time again. The guy, it's like he just has eyes all around his head. He just knows where his teammates are. He doesn't ponder on the ball. He's not taking 10 years to make a pass or make a decision. It's instant. And in the right system and setup, especially if you're a team that plays possession football with a slower tempo, boom, Jorginho can do special things. But like I said, man, I just feel like there's some limits to come from that. And I think that we're at a crossroads where we have other mids now that can do more, that can do things like score goals, and they're showing that they can be match winners, and it feels like you should probably embrace that. And you can't really embrace that if it means Jorginho's your DM behind you, who doesn't have the physicality that he would need to have to adapt to a new midfield way of playing. That's how it simply is for me. But yeah, anyway, moving on to Fashi 2. Bro, what's the point in signing Haaland if he will leave in 3 years? Don't want our club to be used as a stepping stone. I mean, I've never really seen any of our players use Chelsea as a stepping stone, to be honest. I think when players like Hazard and Courtois left, I think the reality for me was that we weren't really showing that we were going to win consistently. You know, I mean, all those stories you used to read in the press of how Hazard used to train and, you know, how he was born under Sarri, born under Conte, boards here, board there. Do you think a player like Hazard wants to, like, be playing defensive football forever and have to be a one-man army? You know what, like we never gave this guy, like, imagine we had Hazard for like 8 years. We never once gave this guy a proper fullback to play with, a proper left back to play with that's going to take pressure off this guy's ass. I'm going to look at Bayern Munich, another incredible club. Ain't surprised that ex-pros take up senior positions at that club and why they're constantly getting the footballing decisions right every single decade. It's not a fluke, you guys. These are the details you've got to look at, accept, and understand. Can you imagine Bayern Munich not giving Ribery a proper fullback to play with? Or the guys we're seeing now with your Sanes and stuff like that, but Alphonso Davies and your Philip Lahms and all these guys. We had Hazard for 8 years and not once did we give him a proper fullback that had the same pace and ability. You could make runs in behind and Hazard's cutting inside. No, Hazard was a one-man army and it's too much. And with all the inconsistencies, sometimes winning trophies here and there, failing here and there, not having that consistency of win-win-win, like I said, at this level was completely different compared to being a club trying to get top 4. That's the ultimate reason why they left. Listen, one of our big advantages is that we live in London. We're a West London club. If you got money and you're rich, London is a city for you, yeah? Like, players, their wives in particular, have a big say a lot of times. They want to be rich in London. Like, that gives us an advantage. So if you are a powerful football club in West London and you're proper winners, you know, we've already shown we've got the state-of-the-art like academy and training ground and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? Players won't be using you for as a stepping stone. And the fact that people shouldn't be even saying the word stepping stone, like, every now and then players do swap to go to other big clubs. What do those clubs do? They don't mope and cry. They just replace him with another big player. That's just how it works. So that could happen. It wouldn't be the end of the world because whatever money we got from him, we're literally replacing him with a like world-class player. That's how the big clubs do it. So words like stepping stone for me have to just kind of be just like completely deaded, to be honest. Moving on, some more super chats. Tobias65, respect, man. This is a proper stream, my big guy. My guy, big ups. Thanks, man. You know, I've been looking at Dortmund highlights under Thomas Tuchel for a while now. Letting his guys cook and eat my goods. I know. I was seeing what Dembele was doing on that right hand side, or purely how this team was playing, the fluidity, man. Like that's what I mean. Like, I've seen Tuchel teams in Dortmund at Paris Saint-Germain. Like, this is why I keep saying with confidence that I feel like this is entirely circumstantial based on the fact that this is the players he has. The other 25% of me or 30% of me has slight doubts, but I'm thinking, what if he decided, you know, I've got like a structure here, I guess. I don't want to let Jorginho and other guys go. If that's the case, then fuck. I'm going to be very nervous going forwards. Moving on to Boubacar Ba. Do you think Chelsea should prioritise investing in the midfield over the attack? 1,000,000%. I think we've needed a midfield player for 3-4 years now. Never really replaced Matic. The scouts. Bakayoko. I remember even just like in utter disbelief of me signing him because I'm not even like this. It's not because I saw this one clip or read this one tweet or whatever. Bro, I watched that Monaco team. I've seen how they played. I absolutely loved that Jardim team. That 4-4-2 they played, Falcao, Mbappe link up. That's what I mean. Just like when I was a kid and I first saw Messi broke through. Being able to see Mbappe like really first make his name in football and breakthrough at Monaco. That's also like special, like footballing highlight, just to see the impact this kid was playing with, the next superstar. Yeah, Bernardo Silva as well. Ooh, Thomas Lemar. You got Fabinho. You know that defense. Like, come on, Mendy. Like, they were such a mad team. I don't know. And yeah, like I said, the fact that out of all those players we looked at, Bakayoko was the one that was signed. Like, for me, I remember seeing those shitty comps that was made when we signed Bakayoko. And at the time, because Matic wanted to go, because the club didn't want to give him the contract, he wanted the story of many players' lives. You know, of course, you have to instantly hate him and disrespect everything he did for the club. Yeah, we still haven't fucking replaced the guy. We still haven't replaced him. Imagine if he was still in the team all these years. He now the benefits we'd have, and how Cancer would have even more game time now, because he wouldn't be getting rushed back with injuries left, right, and center. And so we're just trying to slowly kill this guy's career. Yeah, and we signed Bakayoko, like the worst of the lot. Was it that one goal we scored against Man City in the Champions League with the header? I don't know what it was. Like, you got to understand, like, Monaco was playing attacking football, numbers forwards, wing backs bombing forward too. Like, they was going for it. A lot of the passes that they were showing these backer comments were just like simple passes that I'm expecting any pro at this level to be making. Yeah, Bacco is showing me one thing that I still see in this game, and that's his ponderousness on the ball. He had so much space to play in Monaco, he didn't really notice it like that. But he was never a one-touch, two-touch player. Like, he always looked ungainly. There was always like an unbalanced he played. In that Monaco team, any like ball winner was good at the time, because that's what he really is a ball winning midfield player. He's nothing more than that. He ain't box to box. He don't have the quality like that. It was just a stupid signing. And then fast forward later, we then signed Saul on loan. And listen, I'm saying, listen, I don't care that he played well against Spurs. I even admitted he was sick. I'm not afraid to do that. But my thing is that Spur want to be used in the big games? No, like I was saying, during the times when our midfield was out, Tuchel still wasn't trying to use this guy. So how is a guy that you're giving 200,000 a week not being used in important moments like this when we've had injuries in this situation? I think that this is proof in the pudding as it is. I don't think anything else has to be said about that. It's just like, after winning the Champions League, this is the business that we're giving to Tuchel to help us push on and then to compete or go against City. Nah, it's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. But yeah, I'm thinking I might have to start wrapping this stream. Actually, I don't know, you guys. I'm thinking I was gonna like keep it moving soon. I'll probably leave in the next 20 minutes, around 11:30. Right now, I'm gonna go through some of you guys' questions in the chat. Of course, respect to everyone with the super chats and stuff too. If you want your question prioritized, of course, you guys let me know as well. Yeah, Chad, what's good, Nini? Respect, man. You same Blake, always here. How you doing? Callum Maloney get better. People don't understand how good the 3-foot Dembele is. He just needs to work on his finishing. I know what you mean. Like, sometimes at those big games moments, he has like squandered a few opportunities. I think like famously not making it 3-0 against Liverpool, that would have sealed it, and Barca going through. You know what I mean? But you know, fine. The margins are fine at the top level, as I keep saying. They're extremely fine. I'm Jay said the famous CFC. St. Maximin is a wizard compared to Hudson-Odoi. He is. My thing is though, is he a guy that I can rely upon to be a match winner for me, to get me the goals like that? I'm not too sure. For me, let's say you never had like, I don't know, like Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic in some like alternate universe, and let's say you had your main left winger and Maximin was the squad competition guy, I'd be happy with that. But not as a signing to be my first team winger. Nah, it's got to be a little bit more than that. Especially when he's not even like a French international like that too. Wendy, hey Wendy, Nini, I generally think our lack of quality in attack is down to the specifics required for a Tuchel DM. Dortmund, yeah, Weigl, yeah, for sure. That is definitely the case. Like I said, you know, I think the passing quality is just not necessarily the same level. Of course, I like Cover a lot too, but as I've said before in the streams here, the guy is 1 out of every 5-10 passes. It's not consistent like that, where you know, boom, this is the quality to expect. And it might sound like I'm being very harsh, but like I said, man, when your competition is like, you know, Liverpool and Man City, and in Europe like Real Madrid's and Bayern Munich and big clubs like that, you don't see their players being wasteful with any slight advantages they get in a game. You know, they don't do that. It doesn't happen like that. And like we have to understand that is the standards that has to be accepted, to be honest. Let me see, Waterboy, which attacker do you think we should get rid of to make space for someone like Dembele? I mean, Timo Werner instantly. Shedrack, Nini, we should go for Rafinha or Luis Diaz. I like both. I like Luis Diaz. I think the guy shows he's a match winner as well. Porto, rocket of a right foot. Like, he's the type of guy where, you know, what I like about him is that he won't just like dribble for the sake of it unnecessarily. He has the confidence to take his man and attack the spaces, break the lines and drive, which you need to see. But he's also sick, yeah, at just quickly shifting the ball in a tiny bit of space. And this guy's got a blast over right foot, yeah. Doesn't need no backlift, no nothing. From any angle, he's got that confidence. Curlers outside the box, long range bangers. You know what I mean? Just those little like low driven ones into the bottom corners, which he needs as well too. That type of quality. So I think he's a great player. I think he's a good player. To be honest, it'll be a very interesting one to see. Waterhouse. What are your top 3 wing backs to replace Alonso? Well, that's a hard question. To be honest. Top 3, I think one I've always said this kid I really liked was that Nuno Mendes guy, but I know Paz and Germain have already signed him, which is annoying. He would have been very interesting. I like his profile. In terms of like other options as well, I think, I don't know, one guy that it's weird, I kind of like, but also have tiny reservations as well too, is Theo Hernandez. I do think as like, if he was going to be like my backup to Ben, or if he was going to be like the guy that would be competing alongside him, I think that he can definitely improve a bit more as well too. And I think he could definitely add to the team as well with like his pace and, you know, his shooting and, you know, obviously his tackling in the final third. I think he's a good player. A dream one would be, of course, Alphonso Davies. I don't think that would ever come though, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm even getting too scrambled to even think about like left wing back targets who's like standing out. I think one kid who interests me, of course, is Ait Nouri from Wolves. Before Wolves even signed him, he was doing bits playing in France, you know, having a really good season. I think this season he's definitely acclimatized a lot more to the Premier League, showing a lot of really good form for Wolves. I wouldn't be surprised in the next few seasons this is a guy making a step up in his career, to be honest. Moving on, Mario Jokic, thank you for this stream, Meanie. Many of us needed the eye-opening. You were harsh, but it's true. I appreciate that, man. I do. And yeah, I'm going to go through the comments afterwards. I haven't been able to see all of them as I've been talking a lot, but I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. I'm hoping I'm not sounding like some entitled like dickhead who's just like, you know, in some fantasy delusional world or whatever. But yeah, I appreciate that, man. Your homie Kovacic's inconsistent passing is why I rate variety higher than him. You're right. Kovacic has absolute world-class dribbling. And that's the thing, like, the players we have, they do some things in their game to a world-class level. I think Kova's, the guy's dribbling for me, that IQ, like it's a very hard skill, yeah, to be able to play that way with that confidence all the time, never in doubt, no matter who you're playing against. It's a rare thing to have. It's just a shame for me that if only you could have added things like better passing. I think a player with that type of skill set, it's such a shame that the passing just is not on that same level. Things like, of course, every now and then he has that long range banger in him that will come from nowhere. But it feels like it's more of like a surprise thing compared to that even being like another facet in our arsenal, if you know what I mean. Like, let's look at someone like Paulo, for example. Yeah, of course, Paulo also scored bangers as well. But you knew, like a Toni Kroos as well too, like them type of guys where they're not always scoring from them, but you know that you can rely upon them if an opening does arise, you know? Like Toni Kroos, those low driven shots as well too. Such a sick skill to have. The blasters, either foot. They're the type of things and actions that win you games. If you know that every player potentially has the opportunity to be a match winner for you. And that's what we used to have. I was bringing up those old school examples of guys like, you know, Giuliano Belletti. That guy scored a few bangers for us. I thought he was an excellent squad player. I still got very good memories of Giuliano Belletti. Alex, I mean, how often did this guy come clutch to some of the goals he scored? for us as well too. I mean, even guys like Jeremy, if you're going old school, like when he was played, he still brought something to the team. He wasn't just there to play a role and play it safe and collect, go training during the week, collect his wages and then fuck off. I mean, he wasn't doing that. Like, that's the thing. And I do feel like sometimes that some of the squad guys we've had recently just aren't able to consistently produce that. And listen, as I'm really trying to stress here, the competition around us is on a level that we'll have to keep competing on and being better than. I mean, otherwise, what's the point? Like, what is the point of Ryman having a football club if ultimately, like all the investments, the money is to win trophies. This is not to make profit. Like, otherwise, don't be in football, be in big tech instead. You know what I mean? Moving on. EJ, I really like this kind of stream where we can just have discussions. Hope you can make it a regular, always up your content. Yeah, I'm looking to do this like once a week on a Sunday. I'm really annoyed at the video I did on Lukaku. That I put so much time and I spent so long just trying to get it past the stupid copyright. Because a video like that, you have to use clips sometimes to make your point. I'm going to have to like remake some changes. I feel like I'm going to have to take the clips out, which is it's a shame because it makes the video better in my opinion. But I'm going to have to release that tomorrow. And I'll let you guys know I've got a little collab plans with George Benson as well. That should probably be coming out on Tuesday. So you guys stay tuned for that. It'll be part of my Chelsea weekly series. We'll talk about everything that happened throughout the week. I'm looking forward to that. George is a sick guy, man. So yeah, it should be good. Billionaires FC Nini, more videos like this. I'm glad you guys like. I'm glad because it's nice that we can just have a discussion that's not just, sometimes you see like these regurgitated topics on the TL where I feel sometimes some of these like discussions are pretty like small fry. I'm not saying this because like I get like some intellectual boner from it. I'm really not that guy at all. But it's more the sense that there's like bigger things that can be discussed, and maybe things like, I don't know, sell Lukaku and stuff. It just feels kind of redundant to me because the club, I mean, it's not FIFA or Football Manager. Like, and even in those games, I've never seen the boards even do that. Every time I played FM or football, or FIFA, it just doesn't work like that. So like, I don't want to, like, that's just it. If you want to like send super chats saying talk about Lukaku, which is sell, please just save your money. Just don't even send any more. Just don't do that yet, because it's just redundant. It's just like, what I'd be a liar if I'm going to be what? Yeah, Lukaku is shit. We should sell him. Let's go for Horden now. Like, come on. You think that's really going to happen? Like, it's definitely not. Moving on. King Harren. Hey, Nini. Who do you think from our young players has the highest potential? I'll say right now, I'll probably say Levi Colwill, to be fair. I'm just seeing this guy's game, the attributes, how he plays, the confidence, what he's doing with the ball, and how he's affecting and starting those attacks. Like, in your defenders here, you have like your first defender, your second one. The first defender is like the real leader. He instigates the play that starts those passages. You know what I mean? Colwill is of that level where he's the one that leads and will be telling guys in the future, get your ass back in defensive line, look for runners and behinds, midfields, I need to come tighter, push up, you know what I mean? Where's my options? He's that type of guy, 1000%, yeah. So for me, I'd have to say Colwill at this point in time. But this club, man, will continue to keep producing stupid talents. The under-16s are a very brazy team, as it is already too, and the next 2 years we'll be seeing a lot more about these guys, I'm telling you. Okay, would I swap Lukaku for João Felix? Listen, Lukaku will come good. I actually don't feel nervous that he's on the flop. I just think he has to be used better. I just think it's that simple. Chris Designs, hope you're feeling better mentally, man. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, especially when I did that water fast. I don't know if I told you guys about this. Like, before Christmas time, my girl definitely got me onto this. But, bro, I went 7 days with no whole food at all. 7 days, didn't eat. You gotta understand me, bro. I've got a little bit of a podgy belly as well, too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm familiar with wings. I'm familiar with sweet and sour. I'm familiar with a few of these things, yeah. Not saying it's good, but just doing this YouTube job, I was just like, like, if you need to really like manage your life properly, because like it's so easy to fall into this like pattern of just only ever thinking about it, only ever thinking about making videos, focusing on that. You got to think, okay, you're doing shit 7 days a week. You got games in the weekend as well too. And that's at a point where I was just like sacrificing social activities, not really doing much of them. And then at the end of the day, when you're just tired and stressed out, you know, you're just turning towards vices, quick meals here, and then slowly your health gets a bit peak. And if your health gets a bit peak, then mentally you're not going to be as good at what you're doing. You're not going to be as ready or as hungry. You're not going to think as good. You're not going to have as good points. You're not going to be, yeah, all these little details came into play. So after doing that water fast, it's reset a lot of things, gut health, there's so many more. I'd suggest, if you guys are interested in what I'm saying, not saying encourage it, it's really up to you. But like I said, I've never been a guy that would even dream of not even having like a snack. Like I'm about this food life, yeah, very seriously about it. But obviously I was taking the piss with it. As you get older too, you feel it more, man. You youngers, I'm telling you, yeah, like enjoy these moments where your metabolism's on a mad level, where boom, you can do and eat whatever the hell you want, and you're not gonna feel nothing the next day. As you get older, it's a different story, completely different one, and you don't want to be at that disadvantage. If I had the type of like education I have now, that if I had that like, I don't know, 10 years ago, it's an absolute shutdown. It's just a completely different story right now, to be honest with you. But like I said, basically I got a real benefits from that, and since then I feel like my mental focus has just been absolutely on point, where you know how many times I'm not even like having a rest when I'm finishing work. Like when I'm finishing videos, I'm literally still consuming football, watching games here and there, you know, reading, still writing. I've got so many scripts written as well too. Yes, it's definitely so beneficial, and the thing is, I actually feel excited every day to make content, which has been a long time since I felt that. So yeah, I'm very happy, man. But anyway, moving on to Boubacar. Hey man, do you think Lukaku has the technical abilities to thrive in possession-based systems? Everywhere he's done, he's played in a direct and quick transition. You are right. That's a very good point. I definitely feel like Lukaku can do that. I just feel like he has to be used in a more proficient way. I look at the Belgium team. I don't think Belgium are exclusively counter-attack. Plays alongside De Bruyne, Hazard very well. They keep a lot of possession too. And the thing with Lukaku is that as long as you're able to not have him be like the sole target focal point, where he has to solely be in central positions, you know, feeding people left, right, and center. If as long as you have the support cast around him that can benefit from his one-touch layups and his movement, the guy, there's a reason why he scores a lot of goals inside the box. There's a reason why he does that. Especially the zones he scores the most from inside the box is those central areas right where the 18-yard box is. To be able to score that, it means your timing, your runs, your movement, your understanding of the game is a very high level for sure. So he definitely can. I just think it's just got to be a bit better with how he's used. I think it's a bit one-dimensional at times. You know what I mean? I look at the details like against City. I think it was twice he won the ball, wanted to quickly lay off a pass to the right hand side, hoping that there was going to be like an overlapping run from the wing backs, and it wasn't there. And there's small details like that, because if he has that, then Lukaku can then dart into the space and behind and be on the receiving end for another pass, like what he was doing at Inter. So yeah, I definitely think that you know, he can definitely adapt to that possession game. He's still always banding goals. The guy hasn't, you know, like had terrible, for his standards, there have been some poor goal scoring seasons, but those standards would make other strikers a lot happy to have a bad Lukaku season. You know what I mean? To have a bad Lukaku season, a lot of strikers professionally would be very happy to have that. So it tells you the level he's on. But yeah, he can definitely suit and adapt to that. You know, it wasn't like Inter Milan were just solely playing with like, you know, 30% possession every game. There were still lots of games they were leading with possession and Lukaku was still scoring. Most of those goals would have been things like tap-ins, because it was like a cross from Hakimi or an assist from someone. Not always spectacular, but that's what happens when you sign these big boy players, man. Moving on though to Molino. Yes, Molino. What do you think about Chelsea signing Adama Traore from Wolves? I think that's an interesting one. I think I like Adama. I think he's a bit disrespected in terms of how he plays. This notion that he's just like basically like an NFL Theo Walcott or something who can just like power his way through, plays with his head down, no end products at all. I think that's a bit false. Wolves aren't really a team that really like goals like that. They just don't like to lose, to be honest. But I definitely think that that can translate if he was playing with better players who can take advantage of some of the things he does. Part of me thinks so. If I have Adama as a wing back, the fact that he can also play as a winger too would mean that if I was ever transitioned to like a 4-3-3, I don't think Adama would be a bad squads player to have, if you know what I mean. Because you know there's going to be times, as we've seen in the league a million times, final 10 minutes in a game or something, 15 minutes. There'll be times where, listen, a lot of times when teams are winning, you're not playing possession from first minute to the 90th minute. Yeah, you do that a bit of times. But let's say for 20% of the season, there'll be games where the final 15 minutes, 10 minutes, you're just going to play like, we're going to bring the blocks back. Because we need to keep our stamina for the next game, because we're in fucking December right now. We've got games coming thick and fast. We can't be here wasting energy we don't need to waste. You know, on Adama, playing on the break like that is going to do special things. And as we saw in the Tuchel last season, we got a lot of goals in the final, like 10 minutes of a game, right near the end, where we were basically playing counter-attacking in that sense. Let's not forget the, for example, the Emerson goal against Atletico Madrid in the second leg when he scored right in the end. We've shown we've got a lot of goals like that. So I could definitely see an Adama translating towards that, and also providing something unique that could add to the team as well too. For 20 mil, not too much of a terrible punt. If I know that it means that maybe other guys could leave, listen, Adama part of a squad where he can play here and play there, it's not too bad in my opinion. A part of me will always think though, mad, that you had live run, but I don't want to start getting into that. I don't want to start getting into that, bro. Let me see more questions. Billionaire, I love Jorginho. The way he counter presses to win the ball back every time we lose it is genius. You're 100% right. The guy, he gets himself in very good positions. He does. He's a very good high IQ player. But I say get rid of this guy and sell him. I'm not saying it to disrespect or not appreciate what he does. It's just literally just, I'm just thinking more about the tactics and that. There's other ways we can play that would be more successful overall for many more players as well too. Not just half the team, half the squad. Under Lampard, only the attackers would benefit from him. The rest of the defense didn't. Under Tuchel, so far, many of the wing-backs, midfielders, defenders are benefiting, but not the attack. We need to get to a point where both the defense, the midfield, the attack, they're all together firing as one. That's how we're really going to start winning things and competing against our big boy rivals. Your homie, someone said he was Theo Walcott on steroids. I always just seen him as like the NFL Walcott, to be fair. Winnesley, Theo was Mr. Mouse on steroids. Yeah. Your homie, what is that? Okay, Juan Rodriguez, hey Juan, do you floss with a mattress? I need to start reading these questions before, to be honest with you, but not gonna lie, man, how am I gonna be a grown man and really care about how people see my appearance? Do you really think I'd wake up in the morning looking in the mirror and really think deep in my appearance and thinking about my looks and trying to do Instagram? Bro, that's kind of moist to even be thinking about that, not gonna lie. But do you one? The rare view, hello, hey Nini from Nepal. Hey man, how you doing? And the funny thing is, literally like last week, I got some momos. My girl loves momos. There's this Nepalese restaurant near us where you live. Oof, love Nepalese food. But yeah, why can't we do any swap deal for Marcos Alonso? Seeing his pace in the City game, I feel very frustrated. His pace, I didn't even see any pace, to be fair. I was just seeing like, the gear was on 0 the entire time, which it has been for a few seasons. I think what's not helpful is the fact that he's on like 150k. And, as we can't forget, we offered him as part of that Lukaku deal to get him signed, to get him done. And in the end, Inter said no. Even at the time, they were looking for a left wing back, but they said no to Marcos Alonso. So I think the moment they said that, it's got me nervous about this guy's future market, to be fair. And I don't know, I still don't know who agreed to give him that deal. I think it was after that season he banged in a few winners for us, which that's what I mean with the club. Like, of course, he was beneficial for us, but like that impacts, compared to like the rest, the 75% of what he does in a season, that is not justified by paying him a wage that high, which means that you're never really going to sell him. You know what I mean? Okay, Waterboy, do you think Matson has a chance in the next pre-season? Yeah, for sure. Like, if you guys give me 1 second, I want to read exactly what I was told about Matson, you know. Because I know, like I was telling you guys earlier, Tuchel is a really big fan of how he was playing beforehand, especially during pre-season. Very impressed. And the club were definitely, you know, the reports about talking to Coventry to find out about the possibility of bringing him back. That wasn't like, you know, that wasn't a lie. That was really a real thing. But can I find it quickly? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I have to scroll through all these messages, man. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, he did a few days ago. Where? Where's this thing I was seeing on man like Matson? Where is it? Where is it? You guys, I'm gonna keep looking for it, but I'm gonna answer a question as I'm scrolling through my sides. How the fuck is it? But yeah, no comfortable silence. I'm gonna look for this as I'm answering the question. I absolutely love these live streams, Nini. Keep up the great work. No, I'm glad you guys like them. I'm really glad you guys like them, man. Moving on, Nini, do you think Roman has a long-term plan for integrating the youth players with the world-class players brought from the market to build a dynasty? I just love that question, man. I think from what we've seen in reports before, that has been something that's been reported on and said. The reality is, though, is that how often does it actually like amount to that reality, you know, taking place and being a thing? Because, you know, as I tweeted before, man, I feel like the sport operates more an opportunity over vision, because like I said, any trophy we get during times of hardship, we'll forget about, oh, actually we have to do more serious things to make sure that we can do more than just take advantage of opportunity. I think it has to be how we move, and it has to be what the future and the plan's going to be, to be honest. I like to think so. We've got some good talents here. The fact that one of the business plans is to always have like you know, clauses inside in these deals as well too. I think that's a big thing. I think that tells you about what the club's plans are to you know, like maintain that talent, to not just like let it go for nothing, and to always have the possibility to bring back in a sense as well too. I think that's a big thing, to be fair. But yeah, like I said, you know, I keep seeing these things. I don't forget the reports about how there was like this 200 million war chest after the Champions League final, and we were going to be spending big, and you know what I mean? That wasn't the case because we had to sell all these youth guys just to be able to sign Lukaku. So I don't know why the club has to just lie sometimes. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, especially when I know Roman was caking during the pandemic and adding even more billions to what he's doing already. So it just doesn't make sense like that, yeah? I'm just sick and tired of reading those types of reports. Like, maybe next time the next report comes from Matt Law talking about war chest, I'm just gonna have to ignore that story, you know, because nah, it never comes to fruition. It never works. I mean, I don't know. I just get a bit, I can't remember using the word flabbergasted. You know, when you're using words like flabbergasted, but you're just like you really can't like understand the situation you're in. Yeah, I'm absolutely flabbergasted, mate. Absolutely flabbergasted. But yeah, let's hope that next season we don't fuck up Tuchel, man. Please, we've got a manager now that will get us winning. Support him properly. Okay, Nini, would you rather sign De Jong or Rice? De Jong would be easier to sign and much cheaper as Barcelona to sell in the summer. You're sure? You're right for sure, but I just don't feel like we need him, to be honest. Like I said, I feel like when you got Kovacic, I don't really think you need De Jong. I don't need to have two Kovacic's in my team. I think one's more than good enough. I think De Jong, I'd say goodbye to him, to be fair. Matthew, do you know if we are actually interested in De Jong? We are. I even did in a video a while back reporting in the fact that you know, when Barcelona was making inquiries for Christian Pulisic, we really did, you know, of course, because clubs talk all the time about possibilities, deals, and everything. We did talk about the possibility of only letting him go if maybe De Jong was included. So for sure, De Jong would be on the transfer shortlist. I don't know if he's really needed like that. Is De Jong going to be winning me games like that? Am I going to be playing De Jong as my DM? Probably not, to be honest with you. And like when you've got Mateo Kovacic, I don't see why you need to have a younger version of him. Especially like when Barca fans are being a bit like frustrated with him as well at times too, because you know some of them think, what is his actual role? Like, am I going to use this guy as a real number 8? Probably not. Is he a Busquets guy in the team? No, maybe off the ball defending could be a bit better. Yeah, of course he's an outstanding footballer, but it's got to be a bit more than that, to be fair. And I don't think he's needed. Max Stewart, Nini, I feel like this summer coming up is a make or break for the board. There is no vision at all when it comes to signings. I mean, you're saying that, brother. Honestly, you're really just talking facts right now. I mean, let's hope that there's some vision at least, and let's hope. I'm just hoping this like Daddy Tuchel will just come out and just I want to see some pressure. Put Tuchel subliminals in the press. That's what all managers was doing before. If I see any Tuchel subliminals, then I know exactly what's happening behind the scenes of the board, because we've seen it happen time and time again. Without the mask, Nini with the word flabbergasted. That's all I can really say, man. It's just the perfect words to express how I was feeling. Bath, I like that name. Bath. It's just like straight to the point. Like you know what you're expecting with a guy called Bath. Respect, man. Nini, we should have bought Pep in 2013 instead of Mourinho. We had Hazard, Mata, Oscar, De Bruyne, etc. We would have dominated for years because there were no elite teams in England at the time. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys, a bit of a side note, but back for people who have been like watching my streams for like when I was first starting, those first like 2 years on YouTube, I kept talking about the future. And I kept talking about the fact that there will be a time where your Barca's, your Madrid's, your Bayern Munich's, your Juventus's, they will all be in transition years because your Ronaldo's, your Messi's, Levers, they're all going to be gone. We're seeing how these clubs have started to prepare for that future. I mean, Bayern Munich just absolutely stealing Jamal Musiala from us. You guys want to talk about vision? This guy was in our academy for free. For free. How was he ever let go? He's playing for Bayern Munich already. He was doing it from 17 years old. He's playing in midfield sometimes in cam, on the wings. This guy for me is gonna be one of the next like great players. It's like this is how he plays. I mean, the thing with Musiala that I always just like forget, and this just sums up how good he is. He's like what 6'2". He's a very tall guy, but like on the field, like the way he dribbles with the ball, his feet, the speed in which he can like shift his weight to one side and skip past players. That's the skill as well too. It's crazy how unique that talent is. And I'm not gonna lie, you're seeing that type of talent. You're thinking, I thought didn't we sign Kai Havertz? I think a lot of people thought Kai Havertz was that type of player. When you sign him, which he isn't. He's more of like an attacking scorer in that sense. But yeah, to think we just had a player like that and just let him go for free. There was no vision at the time to make sure that this is the kid to watch out for. And it tells you everything you need to know about the lack of vision, because he would never have made it here. And he is actually, from what I've heard, Musiala leaving at a young age, finding success, is why a lot of guys from the academy now are much more confident now in leaving, because they know that they'll get real opportunities elsewhere. So this is what I mean when you're not like having that vision on point. It's gonna come to bite you back in the ass for real. But yeah, as you were saying, man, to have that type of talent at the time, as you're rightfully saying, a transition year where a lot of clubs weren't on that same level. We didn't take advantage. We've seen these guys prosper to become the best in the leagues, leaving us. And to think that I really, we should actually be seeing a team that has Lukaku up front, De Bruyne behind, Hazard on the left, and Salah on the right. Kante behind. I mean, I can go on. That really should be the team right now. And it's not, because, you know, we gave all the power to Mourinho, a guy who's the definition of short term. A guy who will literally, you know, he sets teams up to play so he wins, so he can leave a legacy here, so his myth and aura can grow and improve and live forever. You know, when Marina's like tempted this guy back with like, was it like Lamborghinis or Bugattis or whatever, and you know, trying to get on Roman Abramovich's good books, you know, so she can like safeguard her future and career at the club. you gave the keys to the whole club to a guy that didn't deserve them at the time. Because when this guy came, in 18 months time, they all left. That's absolutely crazy. How can all of them leave in that space of time? In 18 months, we lost Massa, the guy who gave us 35 goal contributions, one of our most underrated players in our history. And actually, he was shown at the time that he had potential Chelsea legendary status. I'm not going to lie. Juan Mata, when he first came through, what he did, the way that he just got discarded, and I remember at the time, and I used to have, this is when Juan Mata was actually the reason why I started to lose like my Mourinho lens. At the time, anything Mourinho did, I would never say no to. But Juan Mata, when I was seeing the argument supporting why Mata should go, even though he was absolutely incredible for us that season prior, for arguments like he can't press, he can't like defend, he's not part of the system, I was just thinking, my God, that I'll be acting like this is the only way you can ever win in this game of football, when, oh my God, like just disregarding the impact he brought. I mean, his set pieces were incredible. If this guy didn't take it wasn't Lampard who took the corner that Drogba scored. It was Mata. Lampard got a lot of assists from corners, but for me, Mata was a better set piece taker. That's why that left foot, it was him who took that, and that's who found Drogba in the near post, and the rest is history. Details, man. I'm always really stressed about in this stream, and it's just like the PB supported having Oscar, who was. Again, I feel for him because Mourinho was like just trying to turn this guy into a player that he never really was either. You know, Oscar was a playmaker. He could really play football. We never got to really see it because of the shit system he used. Because defending and pressing and system first over talent, which, you know, I mean, I wish this club could just completely just get rid of. Why sign some of these players? Don't let them really cook like that. It's frustrating. And it's just like, you know, this is the Mourinho that was made all these bad calls, and then when he left, the squad and players he left us with, you know, it literally Conte could only get maybe one more season out from them when we won the league, and again we took advantage of many other clubs being in a transition year at the time. But it's just like we should have been at a time when we were ready to really take over, and it's just just thinking about what could have been, it can make anyone become depressed, not gonna lie. Anyway, I've got another super chat, Boubacar, man. I really appreciate the love in the stream today, man. Yeah, bro, don't even give me no more super chats. I just look out for your questions, man. You're doing way too much for me. I appreciate that. Question: who do you rate more, Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen, Pedri, or Karim Adeyemi? Oh, that's a very good one. I think Wirtz is a very, very saucy player, and this is what I mean. Clubs like Bayer Leverkusen just must be laughing. Like they can survive selling Kai Havertz because they know who's coming up next. You know, that's how it works in these clubs. Wirtz is incredible. I love Adeyemi. I kind of see Adeyemi as like the German Mbappe, to be honest. Very skillful, very fast. Could he translate here? Who knows? Who knows? I'm not too sure. And then Pedri as well too. Teenager playing for Barcelona as well too. Their unique style. Bro, that's a hard question. A part of me is feeling like Pedri, maybe number one. Maybe like Wirtz second and Adeyemi third. Only because, like, you know, that, like, you know, of course Adeyemi's a forwards, but then like your Wirtzes and your Pedris are playing in more like commanding roles with a lot of responsibility, and they're doing it to a very high level at such a young age. So I can't really just ignore that. Jerry J, but I appreciate that, man. But moving on, Jerry J, honestly, you've said it all. I know your impeccable pure truth in this topic would be difficult for anyone with a myopic brain to take. Chelsea board of management should listen to you on this. I'm glad you guys like it. It's giving me more confidence to get this video that I've made, that I've written the script to. It's giving me more confidence to release it. I'll give you guys a little brief, the briefest of snippets, so you can actually see just how long this is. Because when I make my videos, yeah, everything's a script first. I need to write my thoughts down and just get everything on point. So let me give you guys a little brief example, just so you can see, like, you know, what I'm doing here behind the scenes, basically. 1 second, lads. 1 second. Why am I saying words like lads? Oh, my God. Okay, I don't know. Why the hell is that not coming on? Alright, cool. Give me like 10 seconds, you guys. 10 seconds. Okay, calm. Why is this thing not pasting? Cool. But yeah, yeah, as you guys can see, whole script written for this video. Like, yeah, I'm serious about this one. It's probably one of my longest videos, actually. You know, this could be a video that could be like, you know, it could be like 20 minutes plus potentially. But yeah, that's like a small example of it. I've looked to get that probably done sometime next week as well too. So you guys definitely stay tuned for that one, for sure. But yeah, honestly, guys, I'm getting kind of tired, and tomorrow is my girl's birthday. So it's her birthday. I've got some little few things sorted for her. You know what I mean? Got to do good for the babe tomorrow. Got a hotel booked in London. Got some restaurants booked as well. Gonna be a 2-day fianza. Is that even a real word? I don't know. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter. When it gets late like this, words don't have to make sense. But honestly, you guys, I've got a lot of shit to do tomorrow. I need to get more videos ready for when I'm not going to be about as well too, to have them ready for you guys as well. And yeah, I think now it's probably the perfect time for me to keep things moving. So I do want to say thank you everyone who's been with me probably from the moment the stream started and it's finishing now. Thanks to everyone that sent super chats as well to getting involved. I hope I gave you guys answers you wanted. Yeah, I'm gonna read through all the comments you guys put through later, just to like, because I normally do that anyway, just to see what everyone was saying and you know what everyone's thoughts were and you know what you guys had to say and stuff too. I appreciate all the early happy birthday wishes as well. You guys too kind. But yeah, man, it's been fun. Probably be doing maybe it's a bit more of a regular thing every Sunday streams. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Appreciate everyone again, and yeah, looking to do a lot more of these going on in the future. So you guys, on that note, I'm QnA FC. This is Blue Line CV. I'll catch you guys there with some more videos.